Flying 23-4 against Edinboro. Last year, the Crimson Hawks beat the Fighting Scots 38-7. The last win for Edinboro against IUP was back in 2013 when they defeated the Crimson Hawks 36-30 on the road.
Yeah, and I believe the last time they won at home was even further. I think it was 2008. I'll get that for you a little later on. I was over at the PSAC cross-country meet earlier, and there was off and on rain with real sloppy conditions. It's not turf over there. It's all grass. But the weather looks like it's clearing up. We expect some clouds today, but we've done our anti-rain dance up in the booth here so we can hopefully keep the field dry today.
Yeah, last week when the Fighting Scots beat Clarion, we saw a lot of running plays from both teams because it was cold and rained during the contest. It did rain this morning, and I don't expect that it will stop this afternoon.
By the way, in case you guys missed the news with the season going on and everything, over the summer, Edinboro signed a 3-year deal to play Grand Valley State University to begin their season through 2021. That's the next 3 seasons. The Lakers will be a formidable opponent for the Fighting Scots. This season, they're tied for second in the GLIAC at 5-1, or in the conference, they're 8-1 overall. Meanwhile, Lake Erie, who they have been opening their season last year and this season they opened with a 69-0 win. Lake Erie hasn't recovered since then. They're 0-9 this season.
The top of the PSAC divisions have mostly been decided, but we still have this week for the middle of the packs to shape up. East leaders Westchester host Lock Haven at 2 p.m. today, while Slippery Rock, currently 6-0 in the West, hosts Scannon at 1 p.m. Slippery Rock's defensive back Eric Glover-Williams was named the PSAC West Defensive Player of the Week last week. Other games starting at noon, including Clarion at Mercyhurst and California University at Seton Hill. Cal's Nashir Taylor was the Special Teams Player of the Week.
Edinboro, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, hosted the conference cross-country meet. It's the program's 50th anniversary at Edinboro. The women are just finishing their race. I think they just got off the course a couple minutes ago. The men finished earlier. 3 Edinboro men placed in the top 10, and we should get official team results to you by the end of the game. Women's volleyball hosts Gannon tonight at 6 p.m. You can catch that game live on 88.9 WFSC, as I'll be on the call for that, along with Sid. The women won last night in 5 sets over Mercyhurst on Soldiers and Sailors Night.
Speaking of soldiers and sailors, today is Military Appreciation Day for Edinboro, as there will be some festivities and ceremonies going on throughout the game. On behalf of everyone here at WFSC, ETV, and all campus media at Edinboro, thank you to all who served or are serving in our nation's armed forces.
If you want to stay up to date with all of your favorite sports, professional and otherwise, 88.9 WFSC has a couple of shows to keep you up to date. Don't miss Let's Talk Sports with Luke. That's you, Luke. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 10 to 11 a.m. and the morning after on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 11 a.m. And don't forget, you can stream this broadcast today from EdinboroNow.com by clicking on the Listen Live link or on the TuneIn or NoBex radio apps. And since this is a home game, you can watch this game live, courtesy of ETV, which you can also find at EdinboroNow.com or on YouTube by searching for Edinboro Television. We are just about getting set for the kickoff. Both teams have made their way to the sidelines, and we are almost ready to bring you this PSAC West football matchup live on 88.9 WFSC Fighting Scots Radio. Luke, what are you excited for?
Well, I'm excited because this is going to be a big game at home for the Fighting Scots. Like you said, IUP is ranked around 22nd in the ASCA Division II poll, and Edinboro just need to keep this undefeated record right now. They're undefeated at home, and hopefully they can stay undefeated against the Crimson Hawks, and they're going to have to earn it to beat IUP.
Yes, they will, especially a ranked IUP. IUP is always a tough competitor. They own the series against Edinboro, but this year they've got an especially strong team. We see Edinboro will go ahead and return the kickoff to start the game from Indiana. Edinboro moving left to right. They're wearing all red today and lots of sleeves on some players, both black and white sleeves. Indiana wearing all white. Their pants and helmets are gray, though. Back to return for Edinboro, Kyle Galick and Zarel Hendrick. Zarel Hendrick tied for the career interceptions record, but he's the special teams captain this week.
At number 87, Sean Bowling is the kicker for IUP, and we're about underway, and here we go.
The kickoff is a low line drive. Kyle Galick will take it from the 10. Zarel Hendrick in front of him to block. breaks a couple tackles. He's to the 35, getting wrapped up and brought down at the 34. A 24-yard return for Kyle Gaelic to start this game.
That's a great return for Gaelic, and that's how you start the drive on this game. Just finding some open gaps, and he managed to start the ball at the 40-yard line. And this is going to be an important drive for Edinboro, and hopefully they can score the touchdown. And right now, this will be, I think, the fourth consecutive week, Gerard Keller will be the starting quarterback for the Fighting Scots in place of Andrew Tomko.
Alongside Jared Keller, Walter Fletcher to his right. There are three receivers to the far side, and A.J. Turner, the tight end, will start for Edinboro on the near side of the line. Keller takes the snap, drops back. It's a pass to start the game over the middle of the field, tipped into the air and intercepted by Indiana at the 45. Breaks the tackle, he's to the 30. Jared Keller dives in, can't bring him down. He's finally brought down at Edinboro's 25-yard line. And there's a little extra shoving as some referees dive in to break it up, and everyone's off the field with no flags.
Yeah, that interception was caught by number 2, Jan Coleman Jr., a 6-foot, 195-pound graduate from Orlando, Florida, and instantly he caught the football on a tip pass from one of the intended receivers from Edinboro, and that's not the way Edinboro wanted to start the drive, and now IOP will start their drive at the 25-yard line in Edinboro's territory.
Yes, moving right to left, as I mentioned before. Lenny Williams Jr., the quarterback for Indiana. Three receivers to the near side, the running back behind him. Sends the inside receiver in motion to the backfield. Hands it off to the running back who gets hit at the line, spins but can't go anywhere. It's a gain of about nothing.
And that carries by number 24, Justice Evans. And Edinboro defensive line was expecting a running play from that first play of the drive.
Joe Peterson, Colin McAllister on the left side of the offensive line for Indiana. I'll try to give you the rest of the line as this game goes on. Two receivers near, one far. Ball at the far hash for Indiana. The handoff is again to Evans up the middle. Gets a couple yards. He's hit by the linebackers and brought down a gain of just 4 for Indiana.
Yeah, Evans was just running up the middle trying to gain as many yards, and he only gets about 4 on that play. It'll be 3rd down and 6 at the 21-yard line in Edinboro's territory.
Still 2 near, 1 far, tight end on the near side of the line. Under 14 minutes to go in the first quarter. Justice Evans to Lenny Williams right. There was a little bit of mix-up on the snap.
And there's a flag before the snap. And Maurice Sims said that one of the IUP players jumped before the snap.
Yeah, there were a couple different flinches. Lenny Williams himself in the backfield thought he was going to get the snap. I think everyone else did too. And so I think Edinboro arguing that some of the wide receivers on the near side might have flinched. It's less common for a wide receiver to have a false start, but it is not impossible. They're under the same rules that the offensive linemen are. 13 and a half minutes, a little bit of a stoppage in play as the referees talk this one over. And it looks like we're going to get a call, and it looks like they're going to wave it off.
Yeah, there's going to be no flag at all, so.
And the rain starting to fall now at Edinboro. At Sox Harrison Stadium again, Edinboro finishes the season with 2 home games. This is the first of those 2. The ball at the far hash for Indiana as we see it. Edinboro sideline opposite us. Indiana is the closest sideline to us. 2 receivers near, 1 far. Justice Evans to Lenny Williams left. Williams drops back, looks down the far sideline into the end zone for a pass. It's in and out of the hands of the receiver, incomplete.
Yeah, that was JoJo Goss was the intended receiver. And great coverage, one-on-one by number 21, Zerl Hendrick. And that's in a very big play for Edinboro's defense. And IUP will not score on a touchdown. They will attempt to make a field goal to take a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, it's 4th and 6 for the Crimson Hawks, and they're going to go ahead and kick it. The ball is spotted at Edinboro's 21. The holder is currently sitting at about the 28-yard line. So this will be a 38-yard attempt by Dylan Sarka, the redshirt junior kicker for Indiana. The snap, the hold, the kick has the distance, but it's wide left. No good. 13 minutes, 5 seconds to go. Edinboro gets the ball back after a missed field goal from Indiana.
I would have to say that Edinboro was very lucky that interception did not cost them any points, and Edinboro will have a second chance to start their second drive of the game. They'll be at the 21-yard line in their own territory.
A lucky break for Edinboro after losing the ball on their first drive to that interception. They come out moving left to right still. 3 receivers to the near side. The tight end on the far side of the line. Keller takes the snap, hands it off to Walter Fletcher this time. Up the middle. Gets hit but keeps running. He's to the 30. He's got a first down, falls forward to the 35. That'll move the chains for Edinboro with just under 13 to go in the first quarter.
Nice job by Fletcher, just finding some holes in the middle of the offensive line, and he gains enough for a first down for the Fighting Scots.
They'll switch the receivers to the other side. James Clark, the wideout on the far side. I will get the rest of those numbers as they become available to me. Keller takes the snap. This time looks towards the near sideline. Walter Fletcher in the flat, in and out of his hands. Brought down hard after the incompletion. The ball had already left Fletcher's hands for a few seconds when he was brought down to the ground, but no flag there. Incomplete, 2nd and 10 for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, Walter Fletcher was covered by number 21, Kair Geisinger. And Fletcher, he tried his best to try to make the catch, but it just slipped off his fingers, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
3 far again with the tight end on the near side of the line for Keller. Stationed at the 30, takes the snap, hands it off to Walter Fletcher again up the middle, gets hit, brought down by the leg, by 1 leg. It's a gain of about 2, it looks like, for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, Fletcher's going to do the same thing, trying to run up in the middle. He thought he was going to escape with the 1 leg, but 1 leg all needs to bring him down to the ground. It'll be 3rd down and 8. And it looks like we're going to see a spread of receivers, 2 on the near side and 2 on the far side.
Yeah, James Clark is the near side wideout. A.J. Turner, the tight end, is the slot receiver on the near side. Blake Reddick is the wideout on the far side. That's where Tanaz Gregory would usually be. We haven't seen him in this game yet. Keller drops back for a pass, tucks it, tries to get through the line, gets hit, and is brought down. It's a loss of about 1, which makes it 4th and 9 for the Fighting Scots, as Jared Keller gets helped up by Walter Fletcher. And we're going to see the punt team and Andrew Tomko, who started the season as the starting quarterback for Edinboro, come out for his first appearance of the game to punt the ball away.
Yeah, for Keller, he's trying to avoid the pressure, and he is surrounded by a couple IUP players, and that led to the sack. And like you said, Edinboro will punt the football, and we have a timeout by IUP, the first of the game, which is very early in this contest.
Yeah, number 20, Obi Onyathonwu, a little bit of confusion. He was supposed to be on the punt return team blocking one of Edinboro's gunners, but he made it out at the last minute, so Indiana, not wanting to take the chance on the confusion, called a timeout. 11 minutes, 23 seconds to go in the first quarter. Still no score here at Sox Harrison Stadium at Edinboro University. Edinboro trying to move the ball so far unsuccessfully. The ball has not been on Indiana's side of the field since the kickoff to start the game, as both teams make their way back out onto the field. Andrew Tomko still positioned at about Edinboro's own 21, which is where he'll take the snap from Josh Schmidt. Takes a few steps, a little bit of a rugby-style kick, end over end. Will be returned from the 20, a little bit of a bobble, avoids some defenders, but brought down at the 23. A 3-yard return for Indiana, and they'll start at their own 23.
That's a beautiful punt by Tomko, and a great job by the special teams from the Fighting Scots to contain on number 24. I forgot. I think it was number 21, Kair Geisinger, with the return. He only gained about just a few yards, and for the first time, IUP will start their next drive right at the 23-yard line in their own territory.
2 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near for Indiana. The tight end is a little bit of a fullback position, a few yards behind the offensive line. Lenny Williams with the running back to his right. Fakes the handoff, throws it immediately, connects with his man behind the line who tries to leap the defender but is unsuccessful and brought down for a gain of about 1, it looks like, 2nd and 9 for Indiana.
Yeah, that pass was caught by number 84, Grant Smith, a tight end for IUP. And I thought he was going to jump over a few of the Edinboro players, but he couldn't do it, and he flipped over and got only 1 yard.
Samir Bullock is the running back in at Lenny Williams' right. He's now in motion towards the near sideline. Williams tucks it and runs. That's a QB keeper. He gets to the 29 before getting brought down as he was diving forward. It's a gain, but not quite enough for a first down. It'll be third, and it looks like 4 to me.
Yeah, Lenny Williams, he's really good of making some good passing plays, and he also can run the football.
3 receivers far, 1 near. Running back to Lenny Williams' right. Indiana moving right to left. Tried to get Edinboro jumping on the hard count, with the ball spotted at the 29. It is 3rd and 4 for the Crimson Hawks. A pivotal third down moment for them here. Williams takes the snap, drops back. It's a quick out route, completed for a first down and brought down immediately by Zaril Hendrick. It is a first down for Indiana.
Yeah, that pass was caught by number 4, Don McNeil, and a great out route ran by McNeil to get another first down.
Yeah, most people don't understand that routes aren't set in stone. You got to play to the sticks a little bit. He knew where that first down marker was, got just past it, and turned out. 2 receivers far, 1 near with a tight end on the far side of the line. Running back from the left to Lenny Williams' right, then takes the handoff up the middle, but the line collapses, has nowhere to go. A gain of 2. 2nd and 8 for Indiana, as now the rain really opens up here at Sox Harrison Stadium.
Yeah, Zaril Hendrick, the defensive back for Edinboro, he was going for a blitz to make a big stop. And number 24, Justice Evans, went up in the middle, and he only gained about 1 yard on the play.
2 far, 1 near, ball towards the near hash. The tight end was on the left side of the line, now to the far side of the line. Fakes the pitch, Lenny Williams does, keeps it himself up the middle. He gets around the scrum in the middle of the line and dives forward to the 38-yard line. It's still 3rd and 7, it looks like it'll be, when this ball is snapped again.
Nice shot by Williams. He's like trying to pitch option to Evans, and then he ran up in the middle. He only gained about just 3 yards on the play.
Empty backfield, 3 receivers far, 2 near, 8.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Still scoreless. As Indiana tries to convert on 3rd down, it's a hard count. They look to the sidelines as no one jumped significantly that was wearing red, at least. Indiana moving right to left as we see it if you're just tuning in here on 88.9 WFSE. Lenny Williams drops back for Indiana. Pump fakes, then gets hit and brought down hard way behind the line. That's Derek Dorr, the defensive lineman, with a huge sack, and it's 4th and long for Indiana, who's going to punt it away.
That's a beautiful sack by Derek Dorr. And I honestly don't expect Lenny Williams to be sacked because he can move the football like either left or right or up in the middle and had nowhere to go, and Edinboro will get the football back.
Nico Ruiz, it looks like, will handle the punt for Indiana, and I believe that's Zaril Hendrick back to return for Edinboro. A little bit of a running rugby kick for Ruiz. The return is actually made by John Long. He started from about the 33 and made it to the 41 before getting brought down. John Long, the freshman for Edinboro, part of the signing class last spring. I mention him every once in a while. He's made an impression on special teams.
Yeah, I think that's a good return, and nice part about it, Edinboro will start their next drive at the 40-yard line in their own territory, and hopefully the Fighting Scots can move across midfield and head to IUP's territory.
James Clark will be the wideout closest to us. 1 receiver near, 2 far. I still don't see Tanaz Gregory on the field. We'll have to keep an eye on that as the game goes on. Ball at the near hash at the 41. Jared Keller takes the snap. Hands it off to Walter Fletcher up the middle. He gets 4 yards up to the 45 before getting brought down.
Yeah, he moves left and right in the middle of the offensive line. That's a good amount of yards. It'll be, I think, only 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 6. For the Fighting Scots.
Blake Reddick still the wideout on the far side of the field. Andre Dowdell Jr., whom I haven't named yet, is the slot receiver on the far side of the field. A.J. Turner right behind the offensive line on the near side. Keller standing on the 40 with the ball at the 45, hands it off to Walter Fletcher up the middle, pushes through the offensive lineman. Now the defense pushes back, but he gets forward progress to the 49. It'll be 3rd and 2 for Edinboro.
Yeah, Fletcher, he kept driving his feet when he got the ball. Did everything he can to push forward, and the Fighting Scots are just about 3 yards away for another first down. Like, if they need to cross the midfield to keep this drive going.
Yes, they need to get into Indiana's territory here. 2 far, 1 near. On the 3rd and 2 for Jared Keller. 6.5 minutes to go in the first quarter, still scoreless. The near receiver goes in motion to the far side of the line. The handoff is to Fletcher, who follows Clark up the middle. They've got a first down all the way to Indiana's 45. It's a gain of about 6.
Yeah, for James Clark, what he did, like he moved in motion, and then I think he stayed behind the offensive line to create an additional block for Fletcher in order for him to get another first down for the Fighting Scots.
Still too far, one near ball towards the near hash, but a little towards the center of the two hashes. Keller positioned at the 50, hands it off again to Walter Fletcher. It's been working to the 38, 39 of Indiana side of the field as he falls forward and gets brought down. It's going to be 2nd and 4 for the Fighting Scots, who are attempting a little bit of a hurry-up offense with the rain still falling. The rain, by the way, moving left to right from our position, in case you're curious. Too far, one near, but it's a handoff again to Fletcher. Has to go outside the tackles, but gets a first down to Indiana's 34, and they'll move the sticks again for Edinboro. Under 6 to go in the first quarter, as Indiana forced to make some defensive line changes, as Edinboro is moving quickly here.
Yeah, Fletcher, he ran up in the middle, and then he made an adjustment, slide to the left, and move around to the outside to get another first down.
Too far, one near with the ball, this time towards the far hash. They haven't brought those two receivers to the wide side of the field. They're keeping them on the short side. Sends the slot receiver in motion, and the handoff is to Fletcher, who was going to go outside, but up the middle. He's got a first down again as he makes it all the way to Indiana's 24. That's where the sticks are, and they will move them.
Yeah, number 18, Andre Dowdell Jr. made some great trickery, thinking he's going to get the football, and then was given to Fletcher right up in the middle and gained another first down for the Fighting Scots.
The clock ticks to 5 minutes from Indiana's 24. Edinboro threatening here. Two receivers far, one near. There was no defensive back position on Clark. He tried to signal, but it's a handoff to Fletcher up the middle. The line collapses a little bit. He only gets 2 yards on this run.
Yeah, IUP's defensive line was expecting another running play just right in the middle, like near the center. And Fletcher only gained about just 2 yards on the play. He'll be on the sideline. He'll be replaced by number 35, Kyle Galick.
And after that play, the field judge went and got in James Clark's face and was saying something to him, either about the way he was signaling that there was no defender on him, hoping to get an audible called and a pass play on the free pass, or maybe something that happened during the play between him and defensive back Kyer Gasinger. Either way, too far, one near, 2nd and 7 for Edinboro from the 21. Fakes the handoff to Kyle Galick. It's a screen pass, but swatted behind the line. That was defensive lineman DeAndre Easterling who got his hand on that one. He was right in Keller's face on that play.
Yeah, he saw he's going to throw the football and just saying, nope, I will not allow you to throw the ball. It'll be 3rd down and 7 for the Fighting Scots at the 23-yard line in IUP's territory.
Kyle Galick remains in the game. This time they bring Andre Dowdell Jr. as the slot receiver on the near side. There's 2 on the near, 1 on the far with the ball in between the 2 hash marks from the 21. Keller takes the snap, hands it off to Kyle Galick this time. Up the middle, gets hit at the hip. A gain of just, that looks like 3 yards. It's 4th down inside the 20, and they're looking to the sidelines as Walter Fletcher makes his way onto the field. Edinboro's offense has not left the field quite yet. It's 4th and 4, 3 minutes, 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. Still scoreless, and Edinboro has to convert or score here if they want to keep this game alive. 2 receivers near, 1 far for Keller. Tries to get Indiana on the hard count. It looks like there may have been some jumping on the offensive line, and the flag is false start on Edinboro.
And not a good way to have a 4th down play, but I think it's be 4th down and 8 for Edinboro. The offense is still staying on the field to take a chance to score first before the end of the first quarter with 3 minutes and 24 seconds to go.
Yes, the offense was, but now they're going to go ahead and bring on the field goal team as Jake Monroe makes his way out onto the field.
And Andrew Tomko will be the placeholder for Monroe. The ball will be for where Tomko is kneeling at the 30-yard line, so this would be about 40 yards for Jake Monroe.
This would be the season long for Monroe. The kick is blocked at the line. Falling on it is Edinboro, so a turnover on downs and a loss of a couple yards as Justin Kazmierski, the offensive lineman, just managed to find the ball and fall on it right behind the line. The kick had to be low to get the distance on Jake Monroe's part, and unfortunately blocked for the Fighting Scots. So still no score, just under 3 minutes to go as Indiana gets the ball back from their own 26-yard line.
And for Edinboro's defense, they need to make another big stop against IUP if they want to get the football back and hopefully score first.
Jake Monroe is now 3 of 5 this season on field goals. That would have been his longest by at least 16 yards. 3 near, no far for Indiana. The handoff is up the middle, through the line, and to the 29. A gain of about 3 on the run for Justice Evans.
Yeah, not a lot of yards gained by Evans. Edinboro's defensive line was expecting another running play on the first play on this next drive.
Now they switch those 3 receivers to the far side. Zach Kelly, the wideout on the far side, didn't quite get the other 2 quite yet. The tight end's on the near side of the line for Indiana with Evans to Lenny Williams right. It's a screen pass, a bubble screen to the far side of the field, complete up to the 30 to 35. He's been hit a couple times and finally brought down at the 36, which is where the first down marker is. So it's a first down for the Crimson Hawks.
Yeah, Edinboro's defensive backs trying to shed the blocks to make the tackle, and that pass was caught by number 34, Dwayne Walls. And like you said, it's another first down for IUP.
Dwayne Wallace, the inside receiver on the near side, with Zach Kelly, the wideout on the near side. 3 receivers near with the ball at the far hash. So it's a handoff up the middle. There's a wide open hole. He's to the 50, the 40, and finally hit by Brandon Anderson, knocked out of bounds at Edinboro's 37. I believe that was Samir Bullock with the run.
You are correct, and that was a huge run by Bullock. Found him like a big hole on the outside of IUP's offensive line, and now IUP is at the 33-yard line in Edinboro's territory for another first down.
Dom McNeil, the wideout on the near side with those 3 receivers. Zach Kelly, the inside receiver, along with Dwayne Walls. The tight end is Grant Smith on the far side of the line. It's a pitch to Justice Evans, who gets to the near sideline before cutting up field. He gets a first down and knocked out of bounds by Brandon Anderson, who's now made 2 consecutive plays on either sideline. It's just short of the first down, it looks like they're actually arguing, and now they'll move the chains.
Nice job by Bullock. Again, he rolls to the outside, this time to the left side, like you said, and it's another first down for Edinboro. And the Fighting Scots, they have to stop this drive right now if they want to keep the score tied at 0 with less than a minute to go.
Yep, minute to go in the first quarter. 3 far, none near with the ball at the near hash again. It's a pass again as Lenny Williams drops back, pumps fakes, then throws over the middle of the field. Incomplete over the hands of the intended receiver.
That was Miles Williamson, the intended receiver for IUP, and that was a close one. I thought he's going to make that simple touchdown play for sure, but it was just a little far over and couldn't make a reach for it.
That was a little bit of a levels play as Williamson, the inside receiver, ended up moving towards the near side of the field, the other 2 towards the far sideline. 3 far again for Lenny Williams, who has Justice Evans moved from his right to his left. The handoff, it's an option. Williams keeps it, but is brought down from behind by Maurice Sims with a little help from his teammates. But Derek Dorr, who got behind the line quickly, coming up a little slow, he's now up and will stay in the game as Indiana got to Edinboro's 22, a gain of about 2, 3rd and 8.
That was a great heads-up play by Derek Dorr to make the tackle on Lenny Williams from the option play. And it'll be 2nd down and 8, and the clock is ticking with 17 seconds to go. I think they're maybe going to have one more play before the end of the quarter.
They do have to run a play as the play clock is currently less than the game clock. 2 receivers far, 1 near, the tight end on the far side of the line. Lenny Williams takes a snap, fakes the handoff, pump fakes, now throws an out route, a little bit of a hitch and out, incomplete. And that will bring us to the end of the first quarter. And this has been a competitive one from both teams. But still scoreless through the first quarter, both teams looking to get on the board. And like we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, or the end of the pregame at least, today is Military Appreciation Day for Edinboro football, honoring those who have served or are currently serving. We know, me and Luke here in the booth, we have been touched by members of the military. Luke, I understand you would like to recognize some individuals that you know.
Yeah, I'd like to recognize my grandfather from my dad's side of the family, Richard Bonger. He served in the Army during the Korean War. And I'd like to also send a shout-out to my stepfather, Patrick Anderson, who's in the U.S. Navy Reserves. And thank you very much, gentlemen, for your sacrifice and your service. I think it really means a lot to me and also meant to Chris and pretty much everybody here at Scots Harrison Stadium. So thank you very much for your service.
Yeah, and my family has, of course, been touched. I mean, it seems like anyone you know knows someone who has served. My father and grandfather, my father, Chris Rosado Sr., and his father both served in the Army at various points in their lives, and my uncle, my father's brother, served in the Air Force as well. We'd like to thank them, of course, for serving. And as part of Edinboro Campus Media, Tubby, who accompanies us on the air sometimes and runs the board for us sometimes, also was a member of our armed forces. We'd like to thank all of you. As Indiana, to start this second quarter on 4th and 9, the ball spotted at the 22 on Edinboro's side of the field. They're going to set up for a field goal. The hold is good. The kick has the distance again, and this time it's through the uprights, and Indiana starts the scoring in the second quarter, 3-0 Crimson Hawks.
I thought I was going to see another block kick from Edinboro, but this time IUP managed to kick it through the uprights and score it first, but it's only 3 points, and Edinboro has a chance to score a touchdown to take the lead. The programming on WFSC is underwritten by Ronell's Auto Group, featuring collision services in Erie and Fairview, auto glass replacement and repair in Fairview, auto sales in Erie and Fairview, and full rod shop services and restoration in Fairview. Information on each service is on the web at bonelsauto.com.
The rain has lessened here at Edinboro University. Scots Harrison Stadium is the place to be, right now at least. Stands relatively full for the weather that we've been having. Just under 15 to go as Indiana started the second quarter with a field goal, a successful field goal, and now they're set for the kickoff, and Sean Bowling, the senior kicker for the Crimson Hawks, will boot it away here in the second quarter. Kyle Galick and Zeril Hendrick are back for Edinboro to make the return. Bowling's kick is low towards the far sideline, will be taken from the 3. Zeril Hendrick makes a block for Kyle Galick along the far sideline, who broke free for a second before getting hit at the 34 and knocked out of bounds. An excellent over 30-yard gain for Galick, and sets Edinboro up with some pretty good field position.
Yeah, and what I like about Galick, when Fletcher is not on the field, he always has this rocket boost of speed and finds a way to get a big chunk of yards for every carry he has.
Yeah, Fletcher is fast, but when Galick gets in open field, I mean, he kicks in the afterburners, and it's incredible to watch. 2 receivers near side. That's Blake Reddick, the near side wideout, Andre Dowdell Jr., the slot receiver, and James Clark is the lone far side receiver. Jared Keller behind the offensive line. A little bit of a pistol formation is what Edinboro likes to run, with Walter Fletcher to his left, A.J. Turner on the far side of the offensive line. The handoff is to Fletcher, who goes to the far side of the line, but it collapses quickly. It takes a couple seconds for them to bring him down, a gain of just 1 for Edinboro from their own 35.
Yeah, IUP's defensive line was expecting a running play up in the middle from Fletcher, and he only gained about 1 yard on the play, so there's 14 and a half minutes to go, and it's 2nd down and 9.
Now A.J. Turner will make his way off the offensive line and to the near side of the field, where they will have 3 receivers to the near side and 1 to the far. And as I say that, A.J. Turner now walking back towards the offensive line, where he will be positioned along the near side of the offensive line. Ball's on the far hash. Edinboro moving right to left in this second quarter of the game. Slot receiver on the near side in motion, but the handoff is to Fletcher up the middle. Dives through the offensive line, gets a couple yards before getting brought down around the 38.
Yeah, nice job by Fletcher. He pushes forward through the pile. He gains a little more yards. It'll be 3rd down and probably 6, maybe 7. And Edinboro needs another first down if they want to keep this drive alive.
Lots of extracurriculars, nothing extravagant, but definitely extra activity. Keller tries to snap the ball quickly. There was an extra player on the field and tries to get the pass off to the far side of the field. It was incomplete as it was tipped by Indiana defensive back Obi Anyathanwu. But there was no flag, so it's fourth down on Edinboro.
Yeah, IUP was very lucky they did not get called for an illegal substitution as Keller tried to hurry up, snap the football, and try to do like a free play, but it was incomplete pass. It'll be another punt for the Fighting Scots.
Tomko back for the punt for the Fighting Scots, positioned at about the 23. The punt is high and will bounce at Indiana's 27 and in Edinboro's favor, as they'll let it keep rolling as long as it doesn't go out of bounds, and Zarel Hendrick following it will finally down it at the 15. An excellent punt from Andrew Tomko, who came into this game averaging 40 yards a punt. He's been a welcome surprise as he hasn't been playing quarterback since the end of the Mercyhurst game a few weeks back. He did get a little bit of action a couple weeks later, but has not thrown a pass since Mercyhurst. 13 minutes, 16 seconds left to go in the first half of this game between Edinboro University and the Indiana Crimson Hawks. This game live on 88.9 WFSE, also on ETV. You can find the links to those on our social media at 88.9 WFSE and at Edinboro Now, as well as on EdinboroNow.com. Lenny Williams, a little bit of an empty backfield, two receivers near. It's a screen pass complete to Dom McNeil, who only gets a couple yards before getting brought down by DeAndre Dowdell, Andre Dowdell Jr.'s brother.
Yeah, Maurice Sims, he was going for a blitz, trying to make a sack on Williams, but Williams had enough time to throw the football, and a great tackle by DeAndre Dowdell.
So this formation has an extra tackle on the near side as well as two tight ends just off that extra tackle. That's why there's an empty backfield with just two receivers on the far side of the field. Edinboro's defense seems convinced they will only run out of this, but instead Lenny Williams drops back, looks over the middle of the field, a deep pass complete to Dom McNeil at Edinboro's 45, brought down by Billy DePaul, who was lucky enough to be trailing on that play.
And McNeil, he did an awesome job staying ahead of the defensive back, by Billy DePaul, and makes it a simple reception. And I thought he was going to go all the way for a big touchdown pass, but thanks to DePaul, he made a saving touchdown tackle.
Yeah, I mentioned the defensive line was motioning for everyone to crash on the run play, and sure enough, DePaul got fooled and was beat deep. It's the same formation. This time Williams runs it up the middle. He's got a first down and finally brought down at Edinboro's 23-yard line.
Yeah, Edinboro's defense has to contain Lenny Williams. He can not only just throw the football, he can run the football, and he has tremendous speed. And like what you saw, Chris, he ran up through the middle and gained a big chunk of yards, and it's another first down for IUP.
Under 12 minutes to go, Indiana leads 3-0, looking to add to it from the 28-yard line. Still that same formation, two near, two extra tight ends on the far side with an extra tackle on the far side of the line. Williams drops back, now tucks it and runs up the middle. He gets hit at the line and falls forward up to the 25, a gain of 3 for the Crimson Hawks.
Yeah, Edinboro's defense was ready for another running play by Lenny Williams. This time he only gained 2 on the play, 3. It'll be second down and 7, and IUP's at the 25-yard line in Edinboro's territory.
And a little bit of mercy now being shown as they switch out the personnel and go back to having 3 receivers to the near side, none on the far side, and a tight end on the far side of that line. The ball's on the far hash with Indiana moving left to right, wearing white and gray today. Edinboro all red. A little bit of jumping on the defensive line. It's a free play for Indiana. The pass completed to 20, up to the 15 before getting brought down at the legs. It's a first down as there was a flag thrown at the beginning of the play. And the rain starts to fall again here at Sox Harrison Stadium. It's been off and on all day. And we'll have to see what the ruling is on this one. It looks like it should be against Edinboro, or else they would have called it at the beginning. So they're looking to see if Indiana wants to keep the first down or take the penalty.
Yeah, it's offside penalty against Edinboro, and IUP will decline it since they got a first down from that free play.
So 1st and 10, it's actually from the 11, from Edinboro's own 11. A little bit of a hair adjustment being made for David Ballou III, the defensive end for Edinboro, as he gets his helmet back down now. 3 receivers far, tight end on the near side with the ball at the near hash. They just flipped that formation from the last play. Lenny Williams with Justice Evans to his right. Williams looks towards the near sideline, into the end zone, in and out of the hands of the leaping receiver, incomplete. Trey Hall was in on coverage with Brandon Anderson over the top.
That was outstanding coverage from Trey Hall over number 84, Grant Smith, and enough time for Hall to find a football and then make the coverage. It's a good play. It's an incomplete pass. 2nd down and 10 for the Crimson Hawks.
2nd and 10 from the 11 as Samir Bullock makes his way onto the field in favor of Justice Evans. 3 receivers far, none near. And the handoff is to Bullock up the middle, gets hit at the line, actually runs into his own line, and it's a gain of nothing. 3rd and 10 for Indiana. We know their kicker has the leg to make a field goal from here, as he opened scoring at the beginning of the second quarter with a field goal. That's how Indiana leads 3-0 with 10 minutes to go here in the first half. 2 receivers far, 1 near for Indiana. The tight end just off the line on the near side. From Edinboro's 11, Justice Evans back in the game to Lenny Williams right. Williams takes the snap, drops back, under pressure, tackled by Maurice Sims at the legs. A huge loss and a sack for Sims, and it's now 4th and long, and that's what Edinboro needed to do to try to make this field goal attempt even harder.
Yeah, I think that's the 5th time Maurice Sims goes for the blitz, and he finally made the sack against Lane Williams. Williams did not see it coming, and it's going to be another field goal try for IUP. This will be the 3rd field goal attempt for the Crimson Hawks. And we will see if Edinboro special teams defense can make another stop.
Dylan Sarka out for the field goal attempt. The holder, Mike Petropola, located at Edinboro's 33-yard line, which makes it a 43-yard attempt. The snap and the hold are good. The kick is high, has the distance, and is solid through the uprights. 6-0 now. Indiana leads with 9 minutes, 5 seconds to go in this second quarter. We'll be right back in 30 seconds. You're watching this game live on ETV or listening to it live on 88.9 WFSC, Fighting Scots Radio.
So you don't... For those who think, those who create, those who have big ideas, like really, really big, some would call them crazy ideas. For those who have been told no chance, and not you. Those who never miss practice, even at 6 a.m. Those who break a sweat, break hearts, and break records. For those who work harder, smarter, faster, there's Edinboro University. For those who strive. Start now at edinboro.edu.
With the rain still falling here at Sox Harrison Stadium on Edinboro University's campus, the visiting Indiana Crimson Hawks are leading 6-0 after 2 field goals from Dylan Sarka, the redshirt junior kicker, and Indiana set to kick it away. Instead, it's an onside attempt in and out of the hands of the intended gunner for Indiana and out of bounds. And the obligatory flag will make its way out onto the field as that kick went out of bounds for Indiana.
That was too close for IUP to make a nice onside recovery, but since the ball went out of bounds, this will be a kick out of bounds penalty against IUP, and Edinboro will have the football at the 35-yard line in their own territory to start the next drive.
Kyer Gasinger was the furthest guy towards the near sideline on the kickoff team. They were set up like a normal kickoff. If you're not watching this live on ETV, which you can, by the way, you can find those links on our social media at Edinboro Now or at EdinboroNow.com. If you're not watching live on ETV, if you're instead listening live on 88.9 WFSC, which we appreciate, by the way, we will, of course, bring this game live for you on the radio. They were set up for a regular kickoff, and the kicker, instead of kicking it as he normally would, booted it, bounced it just past the 10-yard marker that they need to receive an onside like that, and the intended receiver, Kyer Gasinger, almost a gunner on that situation, was trying to rein it in, went off of his hand and out of bounds. Edinboro, instead of taking that penalty, will actually take possession from Indiana's own 48. Two receivers far, one near on the near side of the field. Keller looking for an open receiver, doesn't see one, keeps it himself up to the 40 and slides. There's flags in Edinboro's backfield. That doesn't bode well for Edinboro, as Keller had made it to Indiana's 39-yard line.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a holding penalty against Edinboro's offensive line, so that'll be a first down and 20, since the play started at 1st and 10.
Yeah, and holding plays, when a quarterback ends up scrambling like that, the defense reads it and tries to take off running, and that's how the offensive line sometimes can get caught up in holding calls like that. It makes sense, but at the same time, it's not always excusable, and it wipes out a 9-yard gain, instead makes it 1st and 20 on their own side of the field now. 3 receivers to the far side, the tight end on the near side of the line with no one outside of him. Fletcher will take the snap up the middle, gets hit but keeps running to the 50 where he's brought down. It's a gain of 8, still 2nd and 12 for the Fighting Scots with under 9 to go. Indiana leading 6-0.
Nice job by Fletcher just to make an 8-yard gain on that play, just to try to do his best to get back on the original line of scrimmage before the penalty.
Blake Reddick and Andre Dowdell Jr. to the near side, A.J. Turner and James Clark to the far side. Fletcher to Keller's right. Ball at the 50, Keller from the 45, takes the snap at the screen pass. He'll spike it into the dirt. Incomplete. It was at Fletcher's feet. He realized that that completion, if it could have been made, would not have ended well. So 3rd and 12 for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, Keller was facing too much pressure from IUP's defense. He had to throw the football and managed to find Fletcher. Even though Fletcher did not caught it, he still avoids the sack for another big loss.
They'll switch up the formation again. 2 receivers far, 1 near. A.J. Turner just off the line on the far side of the offensive line. Fletcher this time to Keller's left. That's the near side of the field, which is the short side of the field. Keller drops back, looks deep, down the far sideline for James Clark, who has to stop for a second to make the catch. He thinks he's reined it in, and they do motion. It is a completion at Indiana's 20-yard line. A huge reception for James Clark, who, by the way, in case you didn't know, is the career leader in receptions at Edinboro University.
That is a big reception for Clark. He just laid on his back on the field and makes the incredible catch while going one-on-one coverage. And it's 1st down and 10, and they're at the 18-yard line in IUP's territory.
8 to go in the first half. 6-0 Indiana. 2 near, 1 far. Ball at the far hash. Keller hands it off to Fletcher. Looks to go up the middle, can't, but has to. Is brought down from behind and pushed forward. A gain of about 2, maybe 3 on that, as he gets to the 15.
Yeah, Fletcher, he tried to move left and right, and back to left and right up in the middle. And like you said, he gained about 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7, and Edinboro's at the 15-yard line in IUP's territory.
2 near, 1 far. Sends the far side receiver in motion to the near side of the offensive line. The handoff is again to Fletcher. Just off the right tackle, gets a couple yards before getting hit and brought down at about the 12. That's a gain of 3 again, so 3rd and 4 for Edinboro.
Yeah, I thought Fletcher's going to turn on the rocket boosters to find that hole right around the middle between the center and the right guard to get another touchdown.
This time spread out, 2 receivers either side for Jared Keller with Fletcher to his left. Keller, this time it's a pass, looks to the near corner of the end zone, way over the head of Andre Dowdell Jr. and incomplete. Under 7 to go. It's now 4th and 4 from Indiana's 12-yard line, it looks like. I believe that's where the ball is currently spotted. 6-0 Indiana as we await the decision from Edinboro's sideline.
Yeah, it looks like Edinboro's offense might stay on the field to go for a 4th down play, and they're going to, and this is going to be another huge play.
And to add to the difficulty of this play, the rain has started coming down even harder. 2 far, 1 near. A.J. Turner on the near side of the line And it looks like a timeout will be called. And the timeout is called by Indiana. That's their second of the half. They have just one left. Edinboro, meanwhile, still has all three of theirs. 6 minutes, 41 to go here in the second quarter as the Crimson Hawks still lead 6-0 at Sox Harrison Stadium.
WFSC is sponsored in part by the Edinboro Hotel Bar at 100 Meadville Street in downtown Edinboro, providing a variety of lunch and dinner items every day. Details are available at 814.
Those who create. Those who have big ideas, like really, really big, some would call them crazy ideas. For those who have been told no, no chance, and not you. Those who never miss practice, even at 6 a.m. Those who break a sweat, break hearts, and break records. For those who work harder, smarter, faster, there's Edinboro University. For those who strive. Start now at edinboro.edu.
He did that last year when he had 1,740 yards and was second in the country in rushing. Like I mentioned, coming into this game, he is third in the country. Still 4th and 4 for the Fighting Scots. 6 minutes, 46 to go in the first half. Too far, one near for Jared Keller, moving right to left from Indiana's 12-yard line. The tight end just off the near side of the line. Whistles before the snap gets off, and it's another timeout from Indiana. That's their last of the half. If they get the ball back this half, which wouldn't be unlikely, they will have to be conservative with their clock. We're going to go ahead and take a quick 30-second break. You're either watching this game live on ETV or you're listening live on 88.9 WFSC, Fighting Scots Radio.
Are you at risk for oral cancer?
I never chew tobacco.
I don't drink much.
Never smoked a cigarette in my life.
You're 3 times as likely to get oral cancer if you drink or use tobacco. What about HPV?
HPV. Isn't that about cervical cancer?
What does that have to do with oral cancer?
You're 30 times more likely to get oral cancer if you have HPV or the human papillomavirus.
HPV? Didn't know that.
Learn more about HPV and oral cancer at myoms.org. This message is brought to you by your oral and facial surgeons.
4th and 4 still for Edinboro after 2 timeouts from the Crimson Hawks here at Sox Harrison Stadium. On Indiana's 12-yard line, looking to either convert or score as Indiana leads 6-0 here in the second quarter. Keller takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He's hit behind the line and sacked by a couple Indiana Crimson Hawks. It's a turnover on downs for Edinboro deep in the second quarter. By the way, I'm Chris Rosato Jr. providing the play-by-play for you today. Alongside me is Luke Boniger.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the broadcast. And for that play, IUP's defense wasted no time to break through the blocks from Edinboro and make the sack for the turnover on downs. And the rain's going to go harder and harder right now. With 6 minutes and 41 seconds to go in the second quarter, IUP is still up 6-0.
Yeah, wet and rainy today, but it hasn't discouraged any of the fans from turning out. Pretty good turnout here on Military Appreciation Day at Edinboro University. Indiana will start their drive from their own 17-yard line. 2 receivers to the near side, none on the far side. Fakes the handoff. It's a bubble screen in and out of the hands, way over the head of the receiver, incomplete.
Yeah, I think the rain is putting a lot of pressure on Lane Williams to make the throw. And that's what led to the incomplete pass. It'll be second down and 10, still at the 17-yard line with 6:38 to go.
Dwayne Wall's the intended receiver on that screen. They have 3 receivers to the near side. He's the innermost receiver, so he just kind of makes his way towards the near sideline as the other 2 block for him. That's how that screenplay works. You could see it if you're watching on ETV. Lenny Williams fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, gets around the tackles, and up to the 24-yard line. It's a gain of 8, and it should be 3rd and 2. I might be misreading here. It's actually going to be 3rd and it looks like 3 yards for Indiana.
Yeah, Edinboro Stevens thought that Boyd was going to have the football, and it would be a great tackle, but Lenny Williams kept the football on the option play and gained about 6 on the play. It'll be 3rd down 3, like you said.
Lenny Williams directing traffic. 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near, and they've got 2 tight ends. Sorry, a tight end on the near side with the fullback in the game. Lenny Williams, a direct snap. He takes it up the middle. The fullback intending to block, but he gets hit behind the line. It's a loss of a couple yards, and it should be 4th and about 5 for Indiana from their own 22-yard line, it looks like, maybe 23-yard line.
That's a big, important play for Edinboro's defense. They'll get the football back, and freshman John Long will be the punt returner for the Fighting Scots once again.
Yeah, Tanaz Gregory not in this game. Haven't seen him yet, so John Long taking over punt return duties. 5.5 minutes to go as Indiana will punt it away. The punter stationed just inside their own 10. He gets the kickoff towards the near sideline. It bounces around the 40, but out of bounds. And the referees will deem it went out. He's making his way further and further towards midfield. And Edinboro will begin their drive from the 43.
And looking at other PSAC scores, Clarion and Mercyhurst are tied at 7 in the second quarter with 14 minutes and 52 seconds to go. California, PA is up 28-15 against Seton Hill with 10 minutes and 16 seconds to go in the second quarter. And other games will start like around 1 p.m. for other PSAC teams. And later on, a few other games will start at 4.
From their own 43-yard line, Edinboro looking to cut down this 6-0 Indiana lead. 2 receivers near side, 1 far as they move right to left wearing all red in today's game. The ball at the near hash. The handoff is to Walter Fletcher. Up the middle, gets hit at the line, then rolls it out towards the near sideline and gets an extra yard to boot. It's a gain of about 4 up to the 46.
Yeah, Fletcher, he was trying to roll to the outside near IUP's sideline on a near hash, and he gained about 3 yards on the play. It will be second down to 7 at the 46-yard line in Edinboro's territory.
Still 2 near, 1 far. A.J. Turner, the tight end on the far side of the line for Edinboro, with Fletcher to Keller's left. Sends the slot receiver in motion, but the handoff is to Fletcher up the middle. Makes a couple cuts, but holds on to it and gets a couple extra yards up to the 49. A gain of about 3 on that one. 3rd and 4 for Edinboro.
Yeah, great job by Fletcher. Keep driving his feet on the carry despite many IUP players trying to make a big stop on him. And the Fighting Scots just needed 4 yards for another first down. And they're like, need to right across the midfield to get it.
4 minutes to go as Indiana leads 6-0 here at Edinboro. 3 far, 1 near this time for Jared Keller, who drops back under pressure and sacked at their own 38-yard line. It's a huge loss, and it'll be 4th and long. And we'll see Andrew Tomko and the punt team make their way onto the field to give the ball back to Indiana.
Yeah, Keller did not see it coming. It was all-out blitz from IUP, and that's what led to the sack. And now it's 4th and 15, with 3.5 minutes to go. Like you said, Andrew Tomko will be the punter for the Fighting Scots.
2 gunners far, 1 near for Andrew Tomko, the punter, who gets his punt off. It'll bounce around the 30 on Indiana's side of the field and bounce in Edinboro's favor. And they will let it roll and rest around Indiana's own 22, where the Crimson Hawks will begin their next drive.
Support for WFSC is provided in part by John's Wildwood Pizzeria, open day at 105 Erie Street in Edinboro. John's menu includes pizza, hoagies, wings, salads, and more. Information is at 814-734-7355 or on the web at johnswildwoodpizza.com.
Just over 3 minutes to go as Indiana retakes the ball. They have no timeouts left in this half. They took 2 of them on a 4th and 4 play for Edinboro that ended in a turnover on downs. Edinboro, meanwhile, still has all 3. Just 1 receiver to either side with the running back to Lenny Williams left to start the drive. The handoff is up the middle, stopped at the line, which is moving its way forward. It's a gain of a couple yards up to Indiana's 25.
Yeah, Edinboro's defense was ready for another running play for this current drive, and they only gained 2 yards on the play. It'll be second down and 8.
Now switching out of that formation. Looks like they brought a little bit of extra on the line on that one. This time 2 receivers far, 1 near, and a fullback in just off the far side of the line with the running back just behind him. Now in motion towards the near sideline, but it's a direct snap to Lenny Williams, who takes it to the far sideline. He's got a first down now to the 40 and out of bounds at the 42. They have had some success when Lenny Williams tucks it and runs.
Yeah, he just found a big hole in the middle, and then he moves to the left near Edinboro's sideline, And that's another first down for IUP. They're right at the 42-yard line.
Rain still falling here at Edinboro University, though not quite as much as earlier. 3 receivers near, tight end on the far side of the line. The inside receiver in motion to the backfield, now back towards the sideline, but the handoff up the middle and hit behind the line by Maurice Sims and Miles Turner. The combination of the defensive back and the defensive lineman for the tackle for loss. It's 2nd and long.
Samir Borg was the intended carrier for IUP, and we have a Edinboro player down up the ground at the 40-yard line.
So they will go ahead and take a quick breather as both teams head to the sidelines. Just under 2 minutes to go in this game as Indiana leads 6-0, trying to run out the clock to end the game. Edinboro trying to keep some time on the clock so they can get the ball back and score before the end of the half.
Support for WFSE is provided in part by Bonnell's Auto Group, including Bonnell's Collision in Erie and Fairview, Bonnell's Auto Glass in Fairview, Bonnell's Auto Sales in Erie and Fairview, and Bonnell's Rod Shop in Fairview. Information on each service is on the web at bonnellsauto.com.
That player who was slow to get up was, unfortunately, Maurice Sims, who has been all over the field in this game making tackles. Hopefully we will see him back in the game. Also conspicuous by his absence, apparently through an injury, is Tanaz Gregory, the offensive star and also the special teams returner. We hope to see him, maybe not in this game, but next week at least. 3 receivers near, 1 far for Indiana. The running back to Lenny Williams left from the 40. Williams takes the snap, drops back, then tucks it, keeps it himself up to the 45 and the 50, gets hit and falls forward as he's hit on Edinboro's side of the field, the 49, but the first down marker's at the 48, so 3rd and 1 for the Crimson Hawks.
Yeah, Williams, he's going to try and make a quick pass, but then decides just to run the football and gains a huge amount of yards, and it's now 3rd down and 1.
2 near, 1 far, tight end on the near side of the line. I have to imagine we're going to see them try to run it up the middle and shove it down Edinboro's throat here. Lenny Williams takes the snap, does hand it off to the running back, but hit behind the line, a loss of about 2 yards back onto Indiana's 49. 4th and 3 for Indiana.
That's a huge play by Edinboro's defense. And right now I am seeing IUP's offense to stay on the field as they want to go for it, even though they have a 6-point lead. I think they just want to score one more before the end of the first half with 38 seconds to go in the second quarter, and now looks like they're going to have the punt team coming.
And they are most likely going to let the play clock tick to 0 and take the delay of game so they can get every last second out of this. They're out of timeouts. Their punter, Nico Ruiz, stationed at the 35, but the play clock now at 0. They will take the delay of game. It doesn't make much of a difference if you're just punting it away. There are 18 seconds left on the clock in this first half as Indiana leads 6-0. Edinboro received the kickoff to start the game, so they will kick it away in the second half, and it'll be 4th and 8 for Indiana from their own 44 when they go to punt it away.
And John Long, the freshman wide receiver, will be the punt returner for the Fighting Scots.
And we have to believe, John Long, not anyone to shrug about as a returner, but unless he sees a wide open hole on the return, you have to believe we're going to see a fair catch to stop the clock as soon as he makes the reception. And now the referees are conferring about some sort of issue on the field. We'll have to see if they make an announcement here. It doesn't look like they are planning to. Well, they did make an announcement, but I'm not sure what it was. Doesn't look like it'll affect the game too much. But now head football coach Wayne Bradford along the far sideline having a conversation with the referee, and it now looks like we're good to go. There was an issue with the game clock. It reads 80 seconds, which is not it's not supposed to do that. So they had to reset it back to 18. 6-0 Indiana Crimson Hawks over Edinboro so far with 18 seconds left in the first half. Nico Ruiz will punt it away. when this ball eventually gets snapped. And now some more whistles as the clock had started running, which it should not be doing because that negates the purpose of the delay of game penalty. And now some extra conversation going on with the referees. A lot of delays. We'll have the longest last 18 seconds of a football game here, or at least in the running for one of the longest last 18 seconds of a football game. As the rain continues to pour, it's been a wet game down on the field as our field photographer, Miss Maddie G, dedicated to the art, has just made her way up to the booth and is sopping wet. We have given her explicit instructions to stay at least 3 feet away from us so that we also don't get wet. We are protected by windows when we keep them closed. They reset the clock up to 18. Looks like we're good to go. As Nico Ruiz will punt it away, takes a couple steps and up and over. Bounces at the 19 and in Edinboro's favor. Now at the 23-yard line where Indiana is going to let it rest. Because Edinboro let that bounce around and roll, 13 seconds ticked away on the clock. 5 seconds are left on the game clock when Edinboro starts this drive from their own 23. In these situations, we've generally seen Edinboro just go ahead and take a knee rather than try to run a play. We'll have to see if they do the same thing here to finish out the first half as Indiana leads 6-0. And it does appear that they will take a knee. Blake Reddick, the safety man, will head behind about 20 yards behind the offensive line to make sure there's no funny business. Keller under center. Will take the snap, and it's a fake. He heads around the tackles. Oh, no, he does not have the ball. It was a direct snap to Walter Fletcher, who made his way down to the 50 before getting tackled, falling forward. There's some flags at the end of the play. He got tackled around the 48, and they're saying keep the players off the field. This half might not be over as there's some extra flags on the play.
And this might be against IUP, and if there's a penalty against IUP, they'll have one untimed down play before the end of the first half, and that's a great play. I thought they were just going to take a knee, and then out of nowhere, Fletcher made a big run and ran across midfield, and they're now around probably about the 40-yard line in IUP's territory. And we'll wait to hear to see if there's a penalty or not.
And last night when I was thinking about this game, I was preparing for this game, I thought to myself, where's the trickeration been from Chris Limbach? And we finally see it weeks later, some more trick plays.
It's going to be an unsportsmanlike.
And we're listening in because this might determine whether this half is over or not. The half does end on the play. Head coach Wayne Bradford signaling that should not be the case. And now they're calling the players back onto the field. Indiana, of course, trying to get off the field as quickly as possible, not even listening to the whistles. That's definitely a good way to make the referees happy with you.
But there's still some discussions.
So now it looks like they're letting Indiana leave the field and keeping Edinboro on the field so that they don't cross paths, because that did end in a personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct at the end of that play against Indiana. Now the referees huddling together still. Indiana, a couple of players have made their way to the locker room, but not everyone. Some people still being held up at the exit. That trick play was, I was fooled on it. I thought Andrew Tomko had taken it to the far sideline, but all of a sudden I look, and he stops running, and Walter Fletcher's got it towards the near sideline. So I don't know whether that was a direct snap, everyone's huddled in close on those plays, or whether it was snapped to Tomko, who handed it off to Fletcher running across the field. Fletcher lined up to Tomko's right and ended up moving to the left on that run, so it might have been a handoff reverse situation there. Now Edinboro's team is granted permission to leave the field, probably a little bit against their will, as they were hoping they would get one last play to end the half. But the half does end with the Crimson Hawks leading 6-0 here at Sox Harrison Stadium. And what a first half this has been, Luke.
Yeah, it really was. I think the name of the game was the defense, because they're both making some good stops. And for IUP, I'm surprised. They only put 2 field goals in the first half, and I thought we're going to see like a high-scoring game because IUP, they can throw the football and run the ball.
Yeah, both teams evenly matched so far on most of their stats, especially on the ground. Edinboro's got 94 rushing yards so far. Indiana 83. Pretty evenly matched. Some pretty good defense being played in this game. It is Military Appreciation Day here at Edinboro University. When we come back to start the second half, we'll bring you some more analysis, some more stats from the first half. Until then, we've got a little less than 20 minutes to go. We appreciate if you've been watching on ETV, either on YouTube or through Stretch Internet, the PSAC network, or if you've been listening live on 88.9 WFSE or either of our apps. I have been Chris Rosado Jr. bringing you the play-by-play in this first half, and we'll be bringing you the play-by-play in the second half alongside Luke Boniger. And for Luke, we'll see you in a little bit. You're listening to 88.9 WFSE, Fighting Scots Radio.
For those who think, those who create, those who have big ideas, like really, really big, some would call them crazy ideas. For those who have been told no chance, and not you. Those who never miss practice, even at 6 a.m. Those who break a sweat, break hearts, and break records. For those who work harder, smarter, faster, there's Edinboro University. For those who strive. Start now at edinboro.edu.
Back at Sox Harrison Stadium at Edinboro University on either 88.9 WFSE Fighting Scots Radio or on ETV. If you're not watching and you'd like to, and you're not driving a motor vehicle, you can go to YouTube and search Edinboro Television, or go to edinboronow.com, find the link to the live video stream, and you can also find those links on our social media at Edinboro Now. And you can find the link to the audio if you would like to listen to audio while you are operating a motor vehicle. That's a much safer way to do it. You can do that if you aren't within our radio band. You can find that link at 88.9 WFSC on Twitter or on edinboronow.com if you click the listen live link. I am Chris Rosado Jr. providing the play-by-play today as Edinboro takes on Indiana University in the last game of divisional play. Alongside me is Luke Boniger on the color.
And welcome back to the live coverage of college football between Edinboro and IUP. And Edinboro, they're down 6-0, and we'll start the second half. And IUP will receive the second half kickoff, and Edinboro will be the kickoff team.
The kickoff will be taken from the 50-yard line after the first half ended on an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Indiana. To start the third quarter, Edinboro will be moving left to right. They're wearing all red today. Indiana, meanwhile, is wearing white jerseys with gray pants and helmets. They're a little bit suspicious of what Edinboro might be trying to pull after Indiana pulled off their own onside kick attempt that was failed, went out of bounds, and gave Edinboro decent field position, though unable to capitalize on any of their good field position starts to their drives, as they have not scored in this game. Jake Monroe set for the kickoff. His boot is low and will bounce inside the 10 and be caught at the 3. Taking off to the 15, hit hard and brought down forward at the 19, where Indiana will begin their drive.
And that was tackled by number 10, the freshman John Long on the kickoff. And nice way for Edinboro to force Indiana to start their drive about the 19-yard line in their own territory.
And if you are just tuning into this game, actually, rather, if you've been watching this game the entire time, this is still the same game, even though it looks completely different. It is bright and sunny out after raining almost the entire first half, off and on at least. Two receivers to either side for Lenny Williams alone in the backfield, just a fullback in front of him. Sends the near side slot receiver in motion. He'll take the snap and go forward through the hole set by his fullback, a gain of about 3 yards, it looks like, for Edinboro.
Yeah, the Edinboro's defense was ready for a running play from Lenny Williams. He'd keep that to himself right up in the middle. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
From the 22, again, moving right to left, Indiana now has a running back to Lenny Williams right, 2 receivers either side, tight end on the far side of the line. A jump from Edinboro, no flag. Lenny Williams drops back, looks down the near sideline for Dom McNeil. Lots of contact, but swatted away by Brandon Anderson, who was over the top on coverage. Zarel Hendrick, the cornerback, was underneath on coverage and made that pass difficult. 3rd and 7 for Indiana.
Yeah, it was a 2-on-1 coverage from on number 4, Dom McNeil, and that's a good stop by Edinboro's secondary. They'll be 3rd down 7 with 14 minutes and 18 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter.
3rd down conversions weren't very successful for either team. Indiana just 1 of 7. Edinboro not much better, 2 of 7. 2 receivers either side. One of them on the near side is really a tight end just off the line. Williams drops back under pressure, evades a sack temporarily. He's inside his own 10, gets a pass off to the tight end. Down the near sideline, he's got a 1st down to the 35 and gets hit, driving forward. Finally to the 45, brought down by Billy DePaul, DeAndre Dowdell, Ryan Bischoff. Take your pick. Lindell Service Jr. was in on that tackle. Everyone swarming the ball on that one, but there's a flag in the backfield. After Lenny Williams had evaded the first sack, a flag popped out. The completion, by the way, was to the tight end Grant Smith, the freshman.
And we'll wait to see what the penalties might be. I think like the one where Lenny Williams was facing pressure by Edinboro's defense, he almost got sacked. And I think maybe there's a holding call against IUP. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they are. The back judge has remained at the 45 where the ball ended up, but they have moved the physical ball, the actual ball, back to the spot of that flag. So we'll have to see what they call it here. And there are 2 flags, both on IUP. One of them is holding. The other one is a face mask. Actually, the face mask is against Edinboro, so they will offset. The referee initially said they were both on IUP, but they offset, and so will act like the play never happened. 3rd and 7 for the Crimson Hawks. 14 minutes, 3 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. 1 receiver to the near side. They will have 2 to the far side, and split backs for Indiana, for Lenny Williams. 2 running backs to his side, both about equidistant from him, a couple yards away. Lenny Williams will take the snap, drop back for the pass, looking into the flat, now keeps it himself, trying to get to the 1st down marker at the 30, hit out of bounds right about the 30. Looks like they're going to give him the 1st down, and the referees almost pulling out their flag as a little bit of extra contact as the quarterback fell out of bounds, but it is a 1st down for Indiana.
Yeah, Lenny Williams, he found a big hole to the left side of IUP's offensive line, went for it, and got another 1st down.
And Trey Hall trying to stop him before he could get out of bounds, but not able to prevent him from crossing the 1st down marker. Double tight end set, 1 receiver either side, running back behind Lenny Williams. Takes the snap, hands it off to the running back, who gets off tackle towards the near sideline, a 1st down, a couple extra yards up to the 43 on Indiana side of the field. That'll move the chains.
Yeah, JoJo God's wide receiver made a good block on Zil Hendrick, and that led the ball to find the gap to the outside, and that's another 1st down for IUP, and they're at the 43-yard line in their own territory.
Yeah, 13 minutes left on the clock in the 3rd quarter as the rain beginning to fall a little bit again. Indiana still leading 6-0. Still in that double tight end set. 1 receiver either side for Lenny Williams. Ball at the near hash. Indiana moving right to left. Williams takes the snap, hands it off to Samir Bullock again, who this time goes to the far side of the field, but can't get back to the line before getting brought down by Billy DePaul, the free safety, back at the 40. It's a loss of about 3 yards. 2nd and 13 for Indiana.
Great job by DePaul to finding the running back and make an impressive tackle. It'll be 2nd down and 13 for IUP. They're right at the 40-yard line in their own territory.
Ball at the far hash, 3 receivers near side. That's the wide side of the field, and the tight end alone on the far side of the offensive line. Williams takes the snap, drops back, looks over the middle of the field. Now he's going to duck it and run through a hole in the offensive line. Back to the 44. It's now 3rd and 9 for Indiana as Lenny Williams has tried to put together most of this offense on his own feet.
Yeah, he's trying to find an open receiver, then found a hole like to the right side of IUP's offensive line. I thought he was going to go for another big run to get another first down, but good job by Edinboro's defense to make a big stop. And like you said, it's 3rd down and 9.
So far in this game, Indiana has 108 rushing yards. Lenny Williams himself has 51 of them. So that goes to show how much work he's putting in this game. 3 receivers near, 1 far for Lenny Williams from the 44. It is the 44. Williams drops back for the pass. Over the middle of the field for Grant Smith, in and out of his hands, incomplete. 4th and 9, 11 and a half to go in the 3rd quarter. And we'll see the punt team for the Crimson Hawks makes their way out onto the field.
That was a very close play for number 84, Grant Smith, the freshman tight end. And I did see some contact, but I don't think it's not enough for a pass interference call against Edinboro. And the Fighting Scots will have the football back.
Nico Ruiz, unable to handle the snap, tries to punt it, barely gets it off. And falling on it is Edinboro. They would have gotten the ball either way on that. Khalil Jackson II, who has had quite the conveniently successful year on special teams. We saw a couple weeks ago against Seton Hill, there was a muffed snap on a punt that Khalil Jackson ended up falling on in the end zone for a touchdown, his first touchdown of his career. He's a freshman. And then we see this one, a muffed snap. The punter, Nico Ruiz, tried to get the punt off. There was everyone around him, and Khalil Jackson ends up falling on it at Indiana's 38-yard line. Excellent field position for Edinboro, who bring out 2 receivers to either side stacked on top of each other. But the handoff is to Walter Fletcher up the middle. He gets hit at the line and falls forward up to Indiana's 33-yard line.
And that tackle was by DeAndre Easterling. And I thought Fletcher's going to escape the tackle from Easterling, but nice job for him to make the stop. It's about 2nd down and 5 for Edinboro.
Under 11 to go. Indiana leading 6-0. Edinboro trying to change that. Still stacked receivers on top of each other. 2 and 2 for Keller with Fletcher to his right. Ball at the far hash. Keller drops back. It's a pass this time to James Clark on a short in route. He makes the completion, and it is enough for a first down at Indiana's 27-yard line, moving the chains.
Nice job by James Clark. A good route running, and manages to concentrate on catching the football, even though he was like one-on-one coverage from IUP, and that's enough for a first down for Edinboro.
Edinboro was just 1 for 7 in the air in the first half. They need to improve that if they want some success. Stacked receivers, but sends the near back receiver in motion. There's now 3 far, 1 near. Handoff to Fletcher again. It was forced up the middle thanks to some edge rush, and he won't get anywhere. 2nd and 10 for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, Fletcher had nowhere to go. He tried to slide right, slide to the left, but it's no use. Good news is that there was no yards lost on that carry. Like you said, it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Fighting Scots.
Now under 10 to go. 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near. A.J. Turner, the tight end, is just behind the offensive line on the near side with Walter Fletcher behind him. Keller takes the snap, hands it off to Fletcher, who makes his way to the far side of the offensive line just off tackle, enough for a first down to the 16-yard line.
There was a little trickery. I thought Gerard Keller, the quarterback, had the football, and IUP thought he was the one who would carry it, but it was Walter Fletcher, like, all by himself, unexpectedly ran through the hole in the middle and got another first down.
Keller takes the snap, hands it off to Walter Fletcher again up the middle, makes some contact with his own tight end and on a block, but still driving forward and brought down by a whole mess of Indiana players. Up to the 11, it's a gain of 5, 2nd and 5 for the Fighting Scots.
And Fletcher kept driving his feet forward to gain as many yards as possible. He only got 5 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 5. And they're right at the 11-yard line at IUP's territory.
2 far, 1 near. Again, Turner just behind the offensive line with Fletcher behind him. The handoff again to Turner. It's that same run as the other one that was that came up earlier. Fletcher stumbles through the line but falls forward up to the 8-yard line. It's not quite enough for a first down. It'll be 3rd and, I believe, 3 with 8.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Inside the red zone, Edinboro finds themselves trying to score. Indiana leads 6-0. Same formation, 2 far, 1 near. The handoff again to Fletcher. Wide open hole, but brought down from his feet as he was crossing the 5. He falls forward and is down at the 1. It is 1st and goal from the 1, and now all Edinboro has to do is punch it back in. They're keeping the formation. It's been successful with the run. The handoff is to Fletcher again, driving through the line, pushes the ball forward. The referees making their way in, and it is a touchdown. Edinboro, who ties the game up at 6, awaiting the extra point with just 8 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Beautiful drive by Edinboro, especially for Walter Fletcher. He keeps driving his feet going wherever he carries the football, and nice job to reach the football right at the goal line, and enough for a touchdown. And like you said, the game is tied at 6, and we'll wait to see the extra point.
Jake Monroe is 42 of 43 in point-after attempts. He missed his 10th attempt in the first game of the season against Lake Erie. His first attempt today goes off the crossbar and bounces back towards the field. No good. He had put together a streak of 33 in a row. He was approaching the record of 41, and that gets reset back to 0. Edinboro ties it up at 6, but unable to take the lead. 8 minutes to go left in the third quarter here at Scots Harrison Stadium, live on ETV and WFSE.
WFSE is sponsored in part by the Edinboro Hotel Bar at 100 Meadville Street in downtown Edinboro, providing a variety of lunch and dinner items every day. Details are available at 814-734-5103 or online at edinborohotelbar.com. The Edinboro Hotel Bar, where you had me at hotel.
Edinboro will kick it away here about halfway through the third quarter, finally getting on the board after remaining scoreless through the first half. It's not too often that happens to them, especially with the first half. We saw them go scoreless in the second half against Mercyhurst, and that was a feat to see. And now a little bit of momentum on their side in the second half as Corey Battaraco comes out to kick it away for the Fighting Scots. Edinboro's sideline getting into the action here as the rain has returned Scots Harrison Stadium. It did so during Edinboro's drive last. The kickoff is deep inside the 5 and will be returned to the 20-25, breaking a couple tackles and tumbling forward finally at the 33, and there's a lot of extra action down on the field.
I see a flag on the play. I think it might be a holding or a block in the back against IUP, and the carry is by number 34, Dwayne Walls, a wide receiver from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
It was holding against Indiana, so that will push back the return just a little bit. They had ruled him down at the 26, so they're going to go ahead and move the ball back to the 16 on Indiana's side of the field. Not a great place to start for the Crimson Hawks. We'll see if their offense can compensate for it. They begin their drive, 2 receivers to either side, empty backfield setup with a tight end on the far side of the line. For Lenny Williams, who sends the running back in motion across the field. It's a jet sweep, the handoff. He cuts forward a little sooner than expected and falls to the 22. That's a pretty good gain, a gain of about 6, maybe 5 for Indiana.
Yeah, that's a pass play from Lenny Williams to Justice Evans.
Yeah, Evans, who was lined up the furthest inside receiver on that play, he is the typical running back and now takes his spot to the left of Lenny Williams. 3 receivers to the near side. That's the wide side of the field. And it fakes the pitch and keeps it himself up the middle to the 30, up to the 35 before getting brought down by Branson Smith, the freshman, and DeAndre Dowdell, the sophomore.
That's a good play by Williams. He faked the pitch option play and it kept it for himself and gained another big chunk of yards, and it's another first down for the Crimson Hawks.
7 minutes to go in the third quarter, tied at 6. After Edinboro unable to convert the extra point, Indiana has 2 field goals in the game. 2 receivers far, 1 near. The tight end acting as a fullback, blocking for Lenny Williams this time, who gets dragged from behind, and flags come out. As he's finally brought down, he escaped getting pulled by his collar. He is downed at the 38. It was a gain of about 3 yards, and there's an Edinboro player slow to get up. A lot of action on that play.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a face mask penalty against Edinboro, and I think it's David Ballou, the third, is down on the ground.
They brought out the same formation Edinboro ran a lot on the last drive, where they have a tight end just behind the offensive line, acting as a little bit of a fullback with the running back behind him. But instead of giving it to the running back, Lenny Williams keeps it himself. He has been the workhorse of the offense for Indiana so far today, as the referees talk over how to assess the penalty. The penalty is against Edinboro, originally downed at the 38. They'll move the ball
right, like about across midfield
to the 47 on Edinboro's side of the field. That is a 15-yard penalty against Edinboro, and not what they needed when they started with Indiana backed up inside their own 20. The ball at the near hash, 3 receivers to the far side, the tight end on the near side of the line. For Indiana, the running back behind Lenny Williams, who is himself about 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Inside receiver on the far side in motion, but the handoff is to the running back, Evans, who gets hit behind the line by 4 different red jerseys. Tackle for a loss back on Indiana's side of the field from their own 48. A couple of players brought out the football, a couple of Edinboro players brought out the football, suggesting they had taken possession, but the referee is not having any of that argument.
Yeah, Edinboro Stevens came out of nowhere and made an impressive tackle for a loss, and it's second down and 15 for IUP.
6 minutes to go. 6 points on each team's side of the scoreboard. 6s everywhere. 3 receivers far, 1 near. Indiana moving right to left, second and long. Lenny Williams drops back, looks towards the near sideline. In and out of the hands of the receiver. If he had made the catch, Zarrell Hendrick would have taken him out immediately. But incomplete, so 3rd and 15 for Indiana.
Yeah, Don McNeil was the intended receiver on the play, and the ball just slipped through his hands because, well, it's raining, no surprise. And it'll be 3rd down and 15. IUP is still at the 48-yard line in their own territory, so they had to go across, like, right about the 37-yard line at Edinboro's territory if they want to get the first down.
They've got their work set out for them here. 2 receivers either side. I would assume they're a little bit out of field goal range here. Lenny Williams drops back again, looking towards the far sideline. Wide open receiver, but he doesn't make the catch. Incomplete, as he's knocked over hard by DeAndre Dowdell after failing to make the catch. And Luke, you mentioned it's rainy, it's hard to make a catch, but you're a wide receiver in Division II football. At a certain point, you do have to be able to bring in these tough catches.
Yeah, Ricky Rogers was the intended receiver, and I thought he's going to catch the football, and we said it many times before, the ball is so slippery he couldn't get the grip of the football, and Edinboro will get the football back from the punt.
Nico Ruiz takes a couple steps before letting it go. John Long, a little bit of trickery against Indiana's punt team, as he was hoping the ball would roll all the way into the end zone for a touchback. Instead, it bounces in Indiana's favor and settles inside the 1. John Long, hoping, like I said, it would bounce towards the end zone, drew all the gunners to the other side of the field as he made it look as though the ball was coming that way. So everyone made their way down towards John Long. Only a couple of players on Indiana's side of the field realized that the ball instead was going to the other side of the field, and they worked to keep it inside the goal line. They didn't have to do any work as they downed it inside the 1. 5.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Still tied at 6 as Edinboro regains possession of the ball. 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near. The tight end just behind the line. Fletcher not behind the tight end. It's a free play. Keller looks downfield for James Clark down the sideline. He does make the catch. It looks like the referee will signal. They're talking to each other. He hasn't made a signal yet. He made that catch all the way around the 25 as he dove out of bounds. It was a free play because Indiana had jumped on the line before the snap. Keller, realizing this, took an immediate pass to James Clark, the near side wideout, who is listening in on the referee conversation and probably also listening to the words of Indiana's sideline, which is not a good thing if you're head football coach Wayne Bradford, who's trying to get this team disciplined. They've had some trouble staying out of trouble.
I have to say, that is another incredible catch by James Clark, and he had to put a lot of effort and break through the one-on-one coverage. And we'll see. We'll wait to hear if the penalty will be against IUP to see if that play will count in Clark's favor.
They are motioning to Bradford along Edinboro sideline, suggesting to decline the penalty. So it is offsides against Indiana, which is declined in favor of the huge, incredible reception by James Clark as he fell out of bounds. And that puts Edinboro at the 23 in just one play from inside the 1 to outside their own red zone. They return to that formation, 2 receivers far, 1 near with the ball at the near hash. A.J. Turner, the tight end, just behind the line, and Fletcher behind him to Keller's right. Keller takes the snap, hands it off to Fletcher with Turner into block up the middle. A gain of about 5 yards before he's brought down around the 27-yard line.
Nice job by Fletcher, just finding the hole. He slides to a little bit to the left, and towards about Edinboro's sideline. And again, like you said, probably about 5 on the play, second down and 5.
What they're doing is they're pulling A.J. Turner from the near side of the line over through the left tackle's gap and using him to block for Walter Fletcher, who then takes the ball to that gap as well. So they start on one side of the line and then make their way to the other, and that's what makes that play hard to defend. 2 receivers far, 1 near. A.J. Turner takes his place on the line this time on the near side. For Walter Fletcher, who heads up the middle but is brought down just a yard in front of the line, it's a gain of 1. 3rd and 4 for the Fighting Scots. 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, still tied at 6.
Yeah, nice for Fletcher just to gain 1 yard, just to keep the ball move forward through the chains. They just need 4 yards for another first down with 4 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the third quarter.
As the rain comes down even harder now, third down conversion attempt ensuing from Edinboro. 2 receivers far, 1 near. Turner on the near side of the line. Keller drops back for a pass. Walter Fletcher over the middle of the field makes the reception. It's complete and a first down and tackled at the 39. A huge conversion for Edinboro as they keep the ball moving on this drive.
Yeah, for Keller, he just found Fletcher right in the middle of the hash marks. He made a nice simple pass and doesn't go for a big one. And another first down for Edinboro thanks to Walter Fletcher's reception.
This time they will go back to that stacked formation, 2 receivers either side. 1 is directly in front of the other. That's what I mean by stacked. The handoff was fake to Walter Fletcher, who may not have realized it was supposed to be a fake. Keller kept it himself, stumbled around Fletcher, fell forward for a gain of about 3 yards on the play. 2nd and 7 for the Fighting Scots.
I think I was expecting Fletcher to keep the football, but I'm glad Keller kept it for himself, and he gained about 3 yards on the play. 2nd down and 7 with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter.
2 near, 1 far. The tight end just off the line this time. Not on the line. Again, with Fletcher behind him. The handoff is to Fletcher, who gets through that gap, then bounces it back a little bit. He's got a gain of about 3 yards before he's shoved backwards. Up to the 45, the first down marker is at the 49.
Yeah, he kept driving his feet through the middle of the offensive line, and he gains another 3 yards on the play. Like you said, it'd be 3rd down and 4, and it'll be at the 45-yard line.
Receivers stacked again, 2 and 2 for Jared Keller. Fletcher to his left. On the 3rd and 4 from Edinboro. Keller drops back, looks towards James Clark.
And it looks like it's enough for a first down according to the one referee towards the IUP sideline.
Yeah, they do rule him down just past the 49, which is enough for a first down. And they will move the chains as the rain now pouring. I believe we could officially classify this as a pour. A good reception from James Clark running a crossing route over the middle of the field. 2 receivers far, 1 near for Edinboro. Fletcher to Keller's right. Ball at the near hash. Edinboro moving left to right at midfield. Tied at 6, under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Keller takes the snap, hands it off to Walter Fletcher, has to bounce it out towards the far sideline, but can't escaped the defender and brought down for a gain of about 1.
There's a flag on the play near the 50-yard line, and we'll wait to see what the penalty might be. It looks like a holding call, according to one of the referees, against Edinboro.
And they do motion it will be against Edinboro. They're conferring with Indiana's sideline to make sure they want to take it. That's against Trey Staunch. That holding call. Minute 34 to go in the third quarter, tied at 6. As they move the ball back on this drive, and it will be 1st and 20 for the Fighting Scots. The ball still at the near hash from their own 40 is where Vitaly Gurman, Edinboro's center, will snap the ball. Kyle Galick in the game for Walter Fletcher, giving him a little bit of a breather. 2 receivers far, 1 near. A.J. Turner, the tight end, on the near side of the line. As the clock ticks away, sends the near side receiver across the field. Keller takes a snap, drops back. A little bit of a deceptive route. It misses the target, incomplete to James Clark.
Yeah, Keller was facing more pressure from IUP. He did manage to throw the football, tried to give it to Clark, but it just went by, and it's an incomplete. 2nd down and 20 for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, they had Clark run from the near sideline to the far side of the offensive line, and then his route essentially was parallel to that, back towards the near sideline, but Keller didn't place it in a catchable area. Keller dropping back for the pass for James Clark over the middle of the field, tipped by the defender, incomplete as it falls to the turf, and we will see 3rd and 20 for Edinboro.
Yeah, Keller took a chance to throw a deep pass. It was a good ball thrown from him, and Clark, he did what he could, tried to reach for the football, but it was tipped away by number 7, J.R. Stevens, the defensive back who made the coverage on Clark.
Yeah, it was 2-on-1 coverage there with some help from the free safety, so the only place he could put it was up high, and J.R. Stevens got a hand on it, as he was taught to do. 2 receivers far, 1 near. A.J. Turner near side of the line. Keller drops back again, but whistles as the ball got snapped. There would have been an interception by J.R. Stevens. However, the play had been whistled dead already as Stevens makes his way to the end zone, celebrates a little bit for the non-existent touchdown, and the whistle was because there was a timeout by Edinboro, and I don't think even they knew what was coming when they called that, but it ended up okay for them.
Programming on WFSE is underwritten in part by John's Wildwood Pizzeria, open daily at 105 Erie Street in Edinboro for eat-in, delivery, or takeout. John's menu includes pizza, hoagies, wings, salads, and more. Information is at 814-734-7355 or on the web at johnswildwoodpizza.com.
This has been an intense game, to say the least. Indiana began the scoring back in the second quarter with 2 field goals, one to the very beginning of the second quarter, one towards the middle of it. Edinboro remained scoreless through the first half and came out with a touchdown that they weren't able to convert the extra point on. So 6-6 to get you caught up if you're just tuning in or if you're relatively new to the program. 6-6, minute to go in the third quarter here on this live coverage of Edinboro football action. I am Chris Rosado Jr. bringing you the play-by-play. Luke Boniger alongside me on the color, live on 88.9 WFSE Edinboro as well as on ETV. Edinboro now returns to the ball, 3rd and 20. 3 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near, moving left to right, ball at the near hash. Keller takes the snap. A little bit of a draw, handoff to Walter Fletcher, who makes his way back towards midfield, but brought down from behind at the 48. A little bit of deception going on there. It's now 4th and 12, and the punt team will make their way out onto the field.
I thought Fletcher's going to go all the way for a first down after they have to need 20 yards to keep the drive alive, but Edinboro will punt the football and give it back to IUP.
Yeah, Keller sets the way that draw run works. Keller sets up like he's going to throw downfield and then hands it off to Walter Fletcher, who hadn't moved at all for the first couple seconds of the play. Tomko's punt goes deep down the near sideline. The gunner, Branson Smith, unable to keep up with it, but not necessary, as it bounces out of bounds at the 9-yard line on Indiana's side of the field. So the Crimson Hawks have their work cut out for them as they begin their next drive.
And looking at the other PSAC scores, Mercyhurst is up 14-7 against Clarion with 12 minutes and 33 seconds left in the third quarter. California PA is still up 35-22 against Seton Hill with 10 minutes and 48 seconds left in the third quarter. Slippery Rock is up 20-7 against Gannon with 7 minutes and 41 seconds in the second quarter. And Shippensburg is up 21-7 against East Stroudsburg with 7 minutes and 53 seconds to go in the second quarter.
Indiana will begin this drive from within their own 10-yard line with a double tight end set, one receiver to either side of the line, and just one running back in the backfield for Lenny Williams, who hands it off to that running back, makes his way up the middle to the 15 where he's brought down.
And that was tackled by the strong safety, number 9, Brandon Anderson. Be second down, probably about 4, and the clock's going to tick away, and that will probably be the end of the third quarter. And
that carry was by Justice Evans, the running back. Sorry to jump on you there, Luke. As he mentioned, the clock ticking away on the end of the quarter. They're in no rush as Lenny Williams actually bent down to tie his shoes. And that will take us to the end of the third quarter, still tied at 6 here at Sox Harrison Stadium. The players are going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we will too. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're watching this game live on ETV or listening live on 88.9 WFSE, Fighting Scots Radio.
The It Won't Turn Off podcast is back, and it's better than ever, proving once and for all that this podcast just won't turn off. This time we're trying to settle great video game debates, one theme at a time. Each month a new theme comes around and we fight to determine everything from the best video game monsters to the best Nintendo games ever made. Join us on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, or check us out on @IWTO Podcasts on Twitter and Facebook for more episodes, merchandise, and more. It Won't Turn Off, only on the Edinboro Podcast Network.
Back out. They went into hiding towards the beginning of that third quarter after being out for the entire halftime. It's back out at least temporarily. No rain now as we head into the fourth and final quarter of this PSAC West matchup between the Edinboro Fighting Scots and the nationally ranked, 22nd ranked Indiana Crimson Hawks, who so far have been pretty evenly matched with the unranked Edinboro football team. 6-6 here is the score. 2 field goals from Indiana, a touchdown with an unsuccessful extra point. That's the whole story of this game, as defenses have been putting on quite the show. Still double tight end set from their own 15 for Indiana. The handoff up the middle, taken to the 18-yard line before getting brought down. It's just short of the first down. Looks like it'll be 3rd and 1 for the Crimson Hawks, who remain in their double tight end set, one receiver either side. Williams gets the snap off quick, hands it off again to Justice Evans. This time he's stopped at the line. Edinboro, a little bit too wise to try to just quickly run the exact same play on them for that extra yard. So it's now 4th and 1 for the Crimson Hawks, 30 seconds into the fourth quarter, tied at 6. And their punt team will make their way out onto the field.
That's a huge stop for Edinboro. They're going to finally get the football back, and hopefully they can take the lead for the first time in this game.
Nico Ruiz, the punter, will set up shop. The ball is spotted at the 18 currently. Ruiz is stationed at their own 3. John Long back inside the 35 to return for Edinboro. Ruiz takes a couple steps. The punt is low. It bounces off an Indiana player, it looks like, and rolls towards Edinboro's 28, where it'll come to rest. And that's where Edinboro will begin their drive.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that the ball touched by one of the IUP players during the punt, and then it kind of rolled just right around the 28 in Edinboro's territory. So I said it before, I just hope that Edinboro can take the opportunity and score a touchdown, if not maybe a field goal, just to take the lead for the first time in this game.
Yeah, I don't believe that was an optical illusion. I believe that did hit off the Indiana player's cleat. He wasn't expecting the punt to be that low. I don't think Nico Ruiz did either. Edinboro could have tried to capitalize on that, but was unable to. So they come out moving right to left in this fourth quarter. 2 receivers near side, 1 far. For Jared Keller, who drops back, looks down the far sideline, and the completion is made at the sideline by James Clark at the 33, who immediately is pushed out of bounds. A gain of about 6 yards.
Great route ability from James Clark. Ran to the outside near Edinboro's sideline and makes an incredible catch. And just about 2nd and 4.
It'll be 2nd and 5, actually. There was a little bit of confusion on the near sideline where the chain gang operates, but now they've got it fixed. So 2nd and 5, 13 and a half minutes to go. Tied at 6, Edinboro. The handoff to Walter Fletcher, who pushes through the line up to the 31. 3rd and 2 coming up for the Fighting Scots.
Yeah, I thought Fletcher's going to go turn on the rocket boosters to gain those 5 yards for another first down, but Edinboro needs 2 more if they want to keep this drive going.
And we will see how offensive coordinator Chris Limbach tries to get those 2 yards. 2 receivers near, 1 far, ball at the far hash. A.J. Turner, the tight end, on the far side of the offensive line, and Fletcher to Keller's left. The ball is set up at the 36. Keller set up at the 31, about 5 yards behind line of scrimmage. Keller takes a snap, hands it off to Walter Fletcher again, and gets hit behind the line and brought down. They'll give him forward progress, which is the line itself, so a gain of nothing, 4th and 2 yards. And Edinboro's punt team makes their way out onto the field. Andrew Tomko. Andrew Tomko will punt it away with 12 and a half minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's right out of nowhere. IOP's defense put a lot of pressure on Fletcher on the carry.
So trading punts, both teams are. Andrew Tomko, the return unsuccessfully made from Edinboro's 31 and will roll in Edinboro's favor back to the 21, where it'll get down by Zarel Hendrick. The returner almost made the costly mistake of touching the ball before he finally made the decision to let it go.
Yeah, if he did touch that football, like you said, Edinboro would pick up the football and try to carry all the way for a touchdown or just start to drive right at the 22, but IUP will have the football on this next drive with 12 minutes and 1 second to go in the fourth quarter.
They gave it away around this part of the field, and now they get it back around this part of the field. Double tight end set still from the 22. 1 running back in the backfield for Lenny Williams Jr. Williams fakes the handoff, looks down the near sideline. It's a hitch and go for Dom McNeil way over his head, but a flag launched into the air by the side referee. And that's probably going to be pass interference on the incomplete pass.
Yeah, that's definitely like a lot of contact by. I think it was probably Branson Smith on the coverage.
Yeah, I believe that was Branson Smith, who has had a pretty good season thus far. The penalty is against Edinboro.
It's actually a holding penalty against Branson Smith, not a pass interference. It's a holding, which actually that makes more sense because I did see him hold. I forgot who was the intended receiver for Indiana, but he did hold him for quite some time, which led to the flag.
Yep.
It's another first down, but not a lot of yards gained from the penalty.
Dom McNeil was the intended receiver. The ball gets moved up to the 32-yard line. Double tight end still in for Indiana. 1 receiver either side. Williams drops back. Now the quick pass. Caught by the intended receiver and falling forward to the 41. It's a yard short of the first down. 2nd and 1 for the Crimson Hawks.
That was Zach Kelly, the receiver who made the reception. And now it's 2nd down and 1 for the Crimson Hawks, right about the 41-yard line.
Keeping those 2 tight ends in with just 1 yard to go for the first down, it'd be tough to expect anything other than a run here, though the pass has been successful. Williams takes a snap. It is a run. Up the middle for the first down is Justice Evans, who falls forward to the 46 as he broke through the line. And that moves the chains.
Yeah, Evans he got the 1 yard, but he gained more than 1 yard for another first down for IUP.
Now switching things up a little bit. Ball at the near hash. They've got two receivers to the far side. Still two tight ends in, though. And Evans to Williams right. The handoff is to Evans again up the middle. He gets hit at the line and falls forward. A gain of about, looks like 1 yard. 2nd and 9 for Indiana. Now, on the last couple runs, they've been setting up a trick play here as Lenny Williams hands the ball off to Justice Evans and then sprints towards the near sideline. They are potentially setting up a play where Lenny Williams doesn't hand the ball off. I don't believe it's an option. It looks just like a design play to set up that future play. Two receivers either side now spread out, no tight ends in for Indiana. It's a pitch to Justice Evans along the near sideline, who gets free and makes his way down towards the first down marker, which is at the 44 on Edinboro's side of the field, where he's pushed out of bounds. And the referees will have to determine whether it's enough for a first down, and they do. Moving the chains now.
Yeah, Trey Hall, no, actually, I think that was Ethan Upperco almost made the tackle on Evans, and Evans just rolled to the outside near IUP's sideline, and it's enough for a first down as we speak.
Under 10 to go in the game, tied at 6 in Edinboro's territory from Edinboro's 44. Two receivers either side. Moving left to right is Indiana. Lenny Williams takes the snap, hands it off to Justice Evans, who can't go up the middle, tries to bounce it around, but is brought down by Ethan Upperco with some help from Ryan Bischoff and Miles Turner.
Yeah, they were ready for another running play from Evans right up in the middle, and just only gain about 2 yards on the play. Now it's 2nd down and 8.
From the 42 is where Indiana will continue this drive. Two receivers to the far side, one near. The tight end, Grant Smith, just behind the offensive line, behind the left guard for Lenny Williams, with Justice Evans to his right. The snap, direct snap to Lenny Williams, who takes off towards the near sideline, gets around the tackles, around some defenders all the way up to the 20, where he's pushed out of bounds gently by Billy DePaul, and they will actually down him around the 25. It's enough to move the chains as Indiana's coaches are arguing that either he should have gotten a couple more yards or that was a possible late hit. It was close. It was borderline for sure for Billy DePaul. Under 9 to go, still tied at 6 at Edinboro's 25. Two receivers to the far side, one to the near. Grant Smith in a 3-point stance behind the left guard. Justice Evans behind him. Williams takes the snap. He takes off towards the line, now tries to scramble outside the tackles, but is hit behind the line by David Ballou III, Brandon Anderson, and a couple other red jerseys back at the 30. 2nd and 15 coming up for Indiana.
Yeah, Edinboro's defensive line was so prepared for another running play by Lenny Williams, and they all gang tackle on him. That's a big loss for 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 15 with 8 minutes to go.
Ball at the far hash now. Two receivers to the near side, one to the far. The tight end just off the near side of the line for Lenny Williams. He takes the snap, rolls out to his right. The pass towards the far sideline, the near sideline to Dom McNeil is complete. He runs forward, spins around, but is taken down at Edinboro's 13-yard line. That is just short of the first down. The first down is at the 15, and the ball spotted at the 13. So 3rd and 2 to go. As the scoreboard's a little slow, I have to do my own math sometimes. Two receivers far, one near with the ball at the near hash, reversing the wide side of the fields again. The tight end, 3-point stance behind the line. It's a free play over the middle of the field as Dom McNeil makes the catch inside the 5 and is brought down at the 1. Edinboro's defense had jumped. Lenny Williams threw a post route completion to Dom McNeil.
And will be an offside penalty, but it will be declined since IUP got the free play and the first down.
And the referees suggesting to Indiana that they decline the penalty. Indiana wise enough to comply with the suggestion. So first and goal from Edinboro's 1-yard line. This is not good for Edinboro's defense. Trying to keep the game tied at 6 with just over 7 minutes to go. Lenny Williams now goes under center in a double tight end set. One receiver to the far side, fullback and running back in the backfield I formation. The handoff is to Justice Evans up the middle, who breaks through the line for a touchdown.
Yeah, Bullock just found a hole in the middle and went for it and got the touchdown. That's the first touchdown in this game by IUP after scoring 2 field goals in the first half.
That's a classic goal line offense. Bring in the 2 tight ends and the fullback. Let everyone go up the middle and see how it sorts itself out. They had 4 plays to try to punch it in and got it on the first one. Justice Evans with the rushing touchdown. And out for the extra point, Dylan Sarka, the redshirt junior kicker who has Indiana's 2 field goals in the game. His kick is through the uprights and good. So 13-6 is the score with 7 minutes and 9 seconds left in the game. We will be right back. You're listening to 88.9 WFSC Fighting Scots Radio.
Sometimes auto accidents aren't really accidents at all. They are staged, deliberate crashes designed to make it look like it's your fault, when in fact, you're the innocent victim. The criminals that are behind them are interested in one thing: money from an insurance claim. If you think that accident was not really an accident at all, protect yourself. Call the police, take pictures of the damage, the people in the other vehicles, the license plates, licenses, and registration. Whenever you suspect fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
The rain has gone away here at Sox Harrison Stadium. Temporarily, at least. We keep saying that. It goes away and then it comes back immediately after I say it, but I have to let you guys know what's happening here. 13-6 is the score at Edinboro University. Just over 7 minutes to go in the game. I'm Chris Rosato Jr. with Luke Boniger on the call. The kickoff from Indiana will be returned by Kyle Galick from the 6. Zarel Hendrick gets a block for him, but he's still hit at the 24. Spins around. He's still on his feet at the 30. Finally brought down. He is a tough cookie to tackle, that's for sure.
Yeah, he just doesn't quit. He stays on his feet to make the return. It'll be a new drive for Edinboro. They'll start at the right about the 25 or the 30-yard line. Actually, it's going to be at the 31, excuse me.
By the way, the conference cross-country meet that Edinboro hosted earlier today, the Edinboro men who raced first, had 3 of the top 10 finishers en route to their first conference win since 2012. The women, a heartbreaker, had 2 in the top 10, lost by just 4 points, a second-place finish for them in that one. Edinboro football, meanwhile, 2 receivers near side, 1 far to start the drive. The handoff is to Walter Fletcher, just off tackle, gets a couple yards up to the 35. The drive had started from the 31.
Yeah, Fletcher, once again, just carries the football through the middle just to gain as many yards as possible. He only got about 4 on the play. It'll be second down and 6 with 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go.
Ball towards the far hash, moving right to left. Edinboro is 2 receivers near, 1 far. A.J. Turner, the tight end, on the near side of the line. Fletcher to Keller's right. Keller drops back this time, looks over the middle of the field, now to the far sideline for Walter Fletcher, who ran a wheel route off the hands of an Indiana defender and into the hands of another one. It's an interception at the 45. He takes a slide, and Indiana has regained possession of the ball. The man who came up with the interception was Mike Petropola after it was tipped by the defender in on coverage.
And I thought Walter Fletcher's going to make the catch on a deflected pass, but unfortunately just fell a little short, and Petropola made the interception, and IUP will start their next drive at the 45-yard line of their own territory.
And we will likely see Indiana keep it on the ground for much of the rest of this game as they try to eat up some clock and prevent Edinboro from regaining possession. Just over 6 minutes to go in the game. Indiana does lead 13-6 after scoring a touchdown a few moments ago. Moving left to right from their own 45. 2 receivers near, 1 far, tight end just off the line on the near side. Fakes the pitch, Lenny Williams goes to keep it himself, but the play was whistled dead and a flag in Edinboro's backfield. And they have to separate a couple players as well, as some extra conversation after the play was whistled dead.
That's a false start penalty against IUP, so that'll be a 5-yard penalty against the Crimson Hawks, which will be 1st and 15, and that will move from the 35 to the 40-yard line.
From the 45 to the 40.
45 to the 40, excuse me.
That's okay. 1st and 15, a little bit of a break for Edinboro, looking to capitalize on this. They've got to stop Indiana from scoring here. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far. Tight end just off the line again for Lenny Williams. They just had a fake pitch QB keeper. This time sends Justice Evans from his right to his left and hands it off to Evans up the middle, but stopped at the line and shoved backwards. It's a gain of 1 up to the 41, 2nd and 14, as there's a pile where the tackle was made, and everyone comes up okay.
Yeah, that's a big, important play for Edinboro, and it's going to be 2nd and 14, just only gained 1 yard from that carry. Now they're at the 41-yard line at IUP's territory.
It looks like Ryan Bischoff, the linebacker for Edinboro, got through that gap first to start the tackle. He was at least the last person to come up from the swarm, so it leads me to believe he was first there. 2 receivers near, 1 far again. Evans first on the right, then the left, now back to the right. Fakes the pitch. Lenny Williams does, keeps it to the far sideline, up to the 45 and the 50. The 45 on Edinboro's side of the field is the first down marker, where he's pushed out of bounds at the 44.
There's a flag back at the 40-yard line, so this may come back. It's going to be a holding penalty against the Crimson Hawks.
And another break for Edinboro on this drive. It is holding against Indiana, so we will see 2nd and 19 when the ball is snapped next for the Crimson Hawks.
Yeah, you really cannot get a first down with that carry when you have a player with a holding penalty, so that doesn't help much for the Crimson Hawks.
So it's actually 2nd and 24. That's a 10-yard penalty. I was doing my math as though it was a 5-yard penalty. As the Indiana Crimson Hawks look to the sideline, leading 13-6, 5 minutes to go, live on 88.9 WFSE and also on ETV. If you're not watching and you'd like to watch the last 5 minutes of this game, you can. We await an announcement from the referee. It looks like they are adjusting the play clock. I mentioned you can watch on ETV. You can find the link to that on our social media at Edinboro Now, or go to edinboronow.com and follow the link to watch it live. If you are watching and you need to listen because you're leaving, you can also stream us live at edinboronow.com. There's a listen live link, or social media at 88.9 WFSE. 2 receivers near, 1 far for Indiana. Fakes the handoff to Justice Evans, who blocks for Lenny Williams, but the rush behind the line from DeAndre Dowdell makes the tackle for a loss, and we'll see 3rd and long as a couple referees make their way together, but they're just agreeing on the spot of the ball. Back at Indiana's own 28-yard line.
That's another big stop for Edinboro. They just need one more play to force Crimson Hawks to punt the football and hopefully can tie the football game with a touchdown.
4.5 minutes to go. Indiana leads 13-6. It is 3rd and 27. 3rd and very long as Edinboro looks to put the stop to the drive here and force Indiana to punt it away with what will likely end up about 4 minutes left on the clock. 3 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near. The ball's at the near hash. So those 3 receivers are on the wide side of the field. Still a running back in the backfield for Lenny Williams with the pressure that Edinboro can bring. Williams does drop back for the pass, then tucks it, runs into his own blocker, and is brought down even further behind the line by Ethan Upperco and a couple friends. Trey Hall was in on that tackle, as well as Derek Dorr, who has been in on a lot of tackles for loss, including sacks, so far this season. Back at their own 24 is where they'll have to snap it in order to punt it away, with John Long back to make the return, stationed around Edinboro's 45-yard line.
That's another incredible play by Edinboro's defense. Just keep putting on pressure on Lenny Williams. And another sack, which means a 4th and 31. And Edinboro will get the football back with 3 minutes and 28 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. Pardon my tongue-twisting moments.
The referees are going to have to adjust the play clock again. They apparently lost a few seconds on that. It was noticed by the back judge, who signaled to the referee. So from 3 minutes 40 seconds is where the clock will begin ticking. And now it does. A little bit of a delay there, as Indiana attempting to wait as long as possible to snap the ball. It is now snapped. The punt low again, end over end, bounces at the 40. John Long takes it from the 32, running backwards, now forwards up to the 35, escaping a couple tackles, but finally brought down with some extra words at the end was Shaq Jones, one of the defensive backs for Indiana. So from the 38-yard line, Edinboro will begin this drive. Just over 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
And WFSC is sponsored in part by Bono's Auto Sales, offering pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs from locations in Erie and Fairview. Information is available on the web at bonosauto.com.
13-6, the Crimson Hawks lead over the Fighting Scots on Military Appreciation Day here at Edinboro University. Two receivers to the far side, one to the near side. A.J. Turner just off the far side of the line with Walter Fletcher behind him. The handoff is to Fletcher with Turner pulling the block, spins through the line, gets to the 43 is where they're going to spot him. Second and about 5 ensuing.
Great rush of speed by Fletcher, just running up through the middle. Just gained about maybe 5 or 6 on the play.
Now hurrying up here, two receivers far, one near. They have just 2 timeouts left in the half. The handoff is to Fletcher up the middle again. He's got a first down at the 50, now in the Indiana side of the field before getting pushed backwards at the 48 on Indiana side of the field. Indiana is, well, they're wrapping up the ball carriers and not bringing them down, and that takes away a couple seconds every play. They're not doing this just to be jerks about it. They're trying to waste time. Two receivers to the far side, one to the near. Same formation setup. The ball at the near hash for Jared Keller. 2.5 minutes to go in the game. Down by 7. Keller drops back down the far sideline for James Clark. 2-on-1 coverage, and it falls between all of them, incomplete. The only positive to that one is it stops the clock.
Yeah, Keller thought Clark's going to go for a big touchdown pass, but it just flew over him and 2 IUP players on that play. And like you said, Chris, that's a good thing for Edinboro. They stopped the clock with 2 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Edinboro still at the 48-yard line.
Now 3 receivers to the far side, the tight ends on the near side of the line. Fletcher to Keller's left. Keller takes a snap. The handoff is to Fletcher. Up the middle, trips over his own blocker. A gain of just 1 to the 47, as Edinboro will have to keep the ball moving here. 2 minutes to go. We haven't seen action like this since the homecoming game, where Edinboro came back from a 14-point deficit with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter to take their first lead of the game against Gannon. They have not led in this game at all. They were trailing 6-0 when they scored their first touchdown, tied it at 6. 2 receivers either side for Jared Keller, drops back to the far sideline on a quick in route to James Clark, makes the reception, gets to the far sideline, breaking tackles up to the 35 where he's taken out of bounds at the 35. That moves the chains. Actually, they'll down him at the 34. He got an extra yard out of it as the chains move, and the clock stops. Minute 39 now.
Nice job by Clark to keep driving his feet to get additional yards, and enough for a first down with 1 minute and 39 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
2 field goals in the second quarter for Indiana, a touchdown with no extra point for Edinboro in the third, and another touchdown with the extra point for Indiana in the fourth. The handoff to Fletcher up the middle. He gets hit, but driving forward to the 31. It looks like they might give him the 31, so that is a gain of 3. Second and 7 for Edinboro, who now has to keep moving here. Minute and a half. Under 90 seconds left in this game. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far. Keller drops back over the middle of the field. Now gets hit from behind. A huge hit from Dondre Tillman, the junior defensive lineman. And now Edinboro takes a timeout on 3rd and long to slow down the pace here. Minute 10 left in the game, still trailing by 7. A field goal will do nothing here. They need to score and at least get the extra point. If not, go for 2.
Supporters of WFSC includes Bonnell's Auto Group, featuring collision services in Erie and Fairview, auto glass replacement and repair in Fairview, auto sales in Erie and Fairview, and full rod shop services and restoration in Fairview. Information on each service is on the web at bonnellsauto.com.
When Edinboro returns to the line of scrimmage, they will snap the ball from the 37-yard line on Indiana's side of the field. The first down marker is at the 24.
Yeah, this is a big third down conversion for Edinboro. If they can make this conversion, they'll be like probably over the 25-yard line and hopefully keep this drive going to score the touchdown and tie the game.
They return to the ball. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far with the ball towards the far hash. The tight end on the far side of the line, Fletcher to Keller's right. From the 37, 3rd and 13. Keller takes a snap, drops back. Fletcher's blocking for him over the middle of the field behind the intended receiver and incomplete. The intended receiver was Andre Dowdell Jr. Minute 5 left on the clock, and Edinboro's offense almost has no choice but to stay on the field here.
Yeah, that was a close passing play to Andre Dowdell Jr. It was deflected from one of the IUP players. This is a big 4th down conversion. If they can make this, they'll still keep the drive going and hopefully tie the game. If not, then the game will be possibly over.
Will they finish 4 and 3 in the PSAC West or 3 and 4? That is the question. 2 receivers near, 1 far. 4th and 13 from the 37. Keller drops back, has to complete this pass to A.J. Turner. He does, who falls at the 10 with the completion, and Edinboro makes their way further downfield. They've got to keep going here. They will down him at the 11, it looks like, is where they're going to officially spot the ball, and now they move it to the 12 as Edinboro ready to take the snap. Under a minute now, and a timeout called this time by Indiana, who has trouble catching up to the play.
Support for WFSC is provided in part by Bonnell's Auto Group, including Bonnell's Collision in Erie and Fairview, Bonnell's Auto Glass in Fairview, Bonnell's Auto Sales in Erie and Fairview, and Bonnell's Rod Shop in Fairview. Information on each service is on the web at bonnellsauto.com.
A.J. Turner, who has been integral in some big wins from Edinboro, in intense wins, when James Clark hasn't been the same receiver he has been for most of the season. A.J. Turner stepped up, had some big receptions, some big touchdowns earlier in the season. We haven't seen much from him in the past couple of games, and yet all of a sudden, with a minute and a half left in this game, minute 10 when the ball was snapped, comes up with a huge streak route reception over the middle of the field. That was everyone go Hail Mary, and A.J. Turner made himself open.
Yeah, he just made a nice catch, and he protected the football, make sure he has possession, and he always makes incredible plays when there's like less than a minute to go in the 4th quarter when they're down by a touchdown or just a few points.
From the 12, 1st and 10 for Edinboro, 53 seconds to go, trailing by 7. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 far with the tight end on the far side. Fletcher to Keller's left. Keller drops back, looks towards the inside, the far corner of the end zone, scooping the ball up from the turf, but it bounced first was James Clark, incomplete. 2nd and 10.
James Clark almost made another incredible catch right at the touchdown, and if he would have scooped it, then it would be a touchdown. But the good news is the clock has stopped. There's 48 seconds left to go in the game.
Yeah, he had some trouble getting around the defender. That was where the ball was placed, was right about where he was supposed to end up. The timing was just a little bit off. Same formation, 2 near, 1 far. Ball at the far hash. Moving right to left, Edinboro is. This time the handoff is to Fletcher, who cuts up the middle inside the 10 before getting brought down at the 8-yard line. As the clock runs now, under 40 seconds to go, it's 3rd and 7, it looks like, for Edinboro.
Yeah, they're trying to push the ball forward, and they're going to keep Gonna have to hurry up. There's not much time left in the game.
Same formation, 3rd and 6. Keller drops back again for James Clark along the sideline, but swatted out of the air by the defender, incomplete. As James Clark was already on the ground by the time that pass got thrown, basically. Tried to reach up and make the catch, but swatted away. Lots of conversation about possible flag, but none called. 21 seconds to go as the clock is stopped. 4th and 6, and they've got to score here. A first down would be okay, but the first down marker is at the 1-yard line, or the 2-yard line. As they look to the sideline, they've got to pull something out of their back pocket and find a way to score inside the red zone. 2 receivers either side. Fletcher to Keller's left, and now Indiana takes their second timeout of the half with 21 seconds left. We're going to go ahead and also take a quick break. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're watching this game live on ETV or listening live on 88.9 WFSE, Fighting Scots Radio.
Proud to serve.
It is chilly, but it is not raining, and it hasn't been raining for the last couple of minutes. Hasn't been raining for a while, actually. It's been off and on all day here at Sox Harrison Stadium, but right now, no rain in the sky, which has been beneficial as Edinboro has had to move the ball quickly, mostly through the air on this drive. 21 seconds remain, 4th and 6th from the 8-yard line. Jared Keller has to get the ball into the end zone here as Edinboro trails 13-6 against Indiana University. 2 receivers are on the near side, 2 are on the far side with the ball at the far hash. Keller drops back, throws over the middle of the field, tipped in the air and intercepted. Falling to the ground as he made the catch was Obi Anyasanwu, who made the interception at the 5. Indiana regains the ball, and Edinboro unable to put the ball in the end zone with 17 seconds left to go, and Edinboro looks like they're on their way to their 4th division loss of the season.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Keller had to take a chance, and then tries to throw the football, and it's deflected, once again intercepted, and IUP will go for another one. They'll improve to 5-2 in the PSAC West, and like you said, Chris, Edinboro will go to 3-4.
Yeah, I mean, a tremendous comeback attempt by Edinboro, just unable to punch it in at the end, and Edinboro takes a timeout here. Their final timeout of the game, delaying what is probably the inevitable here. A couple players hang around to talk to the referees, talk to the players, but now they head back to the huddle. 17 seconds remain, so just one knee will do it for Indiana, but they are backed up inside their own territory. It looks like the ball is spotted at the 4, so it is a little bit of dangerous territory. They got to make sure they don't step back too far. Generally, it's about a 2-step or a 2-yard loss on a kneeling play. But Edinboro has to talk something over, maybe make sure there's no trick play here, as Indiana might try to rub it in a little bit. We saw a fake knee from Edinboro to end the first half. At the same time, maybe trying to force the offensive line back into their own quarterback, maybe force a safety and get the ball back with a couple seconds left. Who knows what they're talking about?
Yeah, yeah, like you said, who knows what the next play might be. It may be a kneel or maybe not.
And they do go ahead and take a knee. Brandon Anderson was in the backfield, deep in the backfield around the 30-yard line, just in case there was a play and they needed an extra defender on it. Both teams, the offenses and defenses, greet each other at what was once the line of scrimmage as the clock ticks to 0, and Edinboro takes the heartbreaking 13-6 loss here at Scots Harrison Stadium against Indiana.
Yeah, it's a tough loss. I have to give credit to Edinboro just to try to put every amount of effort they can against IUP, and then somehow the Crimson Hawks found a way to put up a touchdown to seal the deal and win it on the road. This is actually the last road game for the Crimson Hawks, and on a high note, and they'll be back at home for one more game. And good news is for Edinboro, there's still one more game left in the season, and I believe they will take on Scottstown for the season finale at Scots Harrison Stadium.
Yeah, right now they are slated to play Scottstown. That shouldn't change. Scottstown isn't right now in a position, in an obvious position where they would win the PSAC East and get switched into the championship game. So Edinboro should host Scottstown next week. That game starts at noon, and me and Luke will be on the call for that here on 88.9 WFSC, as well as on ETV, weather permitting. They intend to broadcast that game as well. Like Luke mentioned, Indiana improves to 5-2 in the PSAC West, 8-2 overall. Edinboro, meanwhile, 6-4 overall, and 3-4 in the PSAC West. So they finished with a losing record in the division, but they are guaranteed a winning overall record. They did that last week with the defeat over Clarion, and head coach Wayne Bradford was very proud of his team and the program for setting themselves up for a third consecutive winning season.
And take one final look at the PSAC scores. Mercyhurst are still up 14-7 against Clarion with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Cal PA is up 42-28 against Seton Hill with 6 minutes and 34 seconds left to go. Slippery Rock is up 27-7 against Gannett at halftime. Shippensburg is up 28-7 against East Stroudsburg, and they're about to start the second half. And finally, Bloomsburg is up 24-14 against West Liberty with 11 minutes and 52 seconds left to go in the third quarter.
Next week for Edinboro football will be senior night, as it is their final home game of the season. It's also their final game of the season, the final week of regular season play in NCAA Division II. We thank you if you've been watching on ETV. We appreciate you sticking around. If you are listening on 88.9 WFSE, don't go anywhere for the next 3.5 hours, because at 6 p.m. the women's volleyball team hosts 20th ranked Gannon University in their final game of the season. They have been eliminated from playoff competition, so their final regular season game of the season. It is their senior night as well. It's going to be a special moment, and I'll be on the call for that alongside Sid, one of our new callers here at WFSC. We appreciate you for staying tuned all week and all season long, and we hope to see you next week. Luke, where can they listen?
You are listening to 88.9 WFSC Fighting Scots Radio.
For those who think, those who create, those who have big ideas, like really, really big, some would call them crazy ideas. For those who have been told no, no chance, and not you. Those who never miss practice, even at 6 a.m. Those who break a sweat, break hearts, and break records. For those who work harder, smarter, faster, there's Edinboro University. For those who strive. Start now at edinboro.edu.